Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure. So today we have we changed gears just a tad bit. I wanted some incidents arose. I'm not going to specify the incidents, but some incidents arose that gave me the opportunity to identify how um, um, whole groups of people and institutions are destroyed by means of infiltration. Now, I'm not going to really cite too much scholarship on this one at first, maybe later on, but I want to give you all a source. This is coming from Andrew Bustamante, spelled just how it sounds, Busteme. Andrew was in the CIA. He was in the Air Force first, but he joined the CIA. And Andrew um, has a podcast that's very interesting, where he just tells like how, as a CIA agent, which I don't think he liked being that very much. But that's my opinion. I'm not sure if he liked it too much, but he said they infiltrate groups, and he gave an acronym. It's called MICE, and M stands for money, I stands for ideology, C stands for coercion, and E stands for ego. And basically, that's how, according to Bustamante, that's how you overthrow people. Well, um, something an unspecified event happened, and I was like, you know what? That sounds like a. I wonder is that person in op? Well, Andrew gave a fact pattern where under ego, or what I'm saying, ego, he would send a real pretty, they would send a real pretty girl to come in and talk to a game goofy dude. Now this game goofy dude may have been in the military. He may be working at a bank. He got some type of clearance. He got something they want, or he's close to somebody who got something they want. So they send a pretty girl in there, looking all sexy and stuff, to talk to him, and then she does other things with him, and over time, this dude just falls in love with this beautiful girl until he finds out that she played his ass for information. Now, I was thinking that kind of that happens on Spaces. You know what I'm saying? These random women be coming up in here, all up in our business. You know what I'm saying? And one of my colleagues was like, "How you get in invited?" So, question: are female spies used to infiltrate FBA spaces? What you think about that, Wani?
Yes.
You're not getting off that easy. She's gonna say yes. Good night.
That's the end of the room.
Oh,
See how easy it is?
yeah, just
Um, yes. I have experienced this numerous times since I have been on Twitter Spaces. I'm not going to name names, but the first time I did not realize it, but some Somali women had been sending pictures in the back channels and to the host. And so we were having our normal conversations on the stage, and all of a sudden the host started not reacting in the same way, and these people were saying things that normally he would get on them about saying, and he wasn't saying that. And the conversation devolved down to where they threatened to cut my throat. And so he didn't react properly to that. People were wondering, like, what's wrong with him? It turns out he's having a relationship with the person that threatened to cut my throat and didn't want to say anything. So I just got left out there hanging. I went into another room and he went over to the room and told me not to leave the room because I'm taking people, out of his room. So I was supposed to go back to the room and get threatened with my throat cut. I mean, how does that work? Anyway, I just stopped dealing with that person because I saw that those Somali trolls had infiltrated the person's room and they weren't going to go out. And I wasn't going to trust the person anymore. So I just batted out. But there's more. I'll say it in the next time. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyrone. What's on your mind?
Peace, 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 peace to the chat. Hey, look, this title right here has been on my mind. Because I'm new to Twitter, right? So this title, what you talking about, has been on my mind, man. Like for the past 2 days, I've been waiting for you to do another channel. Um, all right. So boom, do you remember the last space that you had, and you remember what happened towards the end?
I do, but I gotta interrupt you for an unrelated reason. I just have to. Are you playing Mass Effect?
Oh nah, I'm on. What am I watching? Pluto.
Okay, well, go ahead. No, I thought that was Mass Effect, but go ahead. Yes, I do remember.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't respond because it was real suspect to my spirit. Like I be fast and I be trying to eat healthy just so I could keep my ESP up. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't sit right with me, and it felt like a trap. Cause I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? So I have family all over America, all over the South, and so it was so everybody was on the same page, right? We was vibing. We was like, yeah, we agree on this. All of a sudden, and it was some people like, yeah, I'm from New York, yeah, da da da, we agree, this and that, right? This other girl, I don't know, I never spoke to her in my life. It was, you know what I'm saying? But so I ain't say nothing. At first, I'm like, maybe she talking about some other New York people that say that, cool, right? So I came up to two conclusions, and I didn't know how to address it at the moment, so I didn't say anything. So if she was FBA, right? If she is FBA, she was completely off code because what that conversation would have did was it would have caused conflict. You know what I'm saying? Between people from the north and people from the south, right? But if if she wasn't, that means she was cosplaying as a FBA, right? So so she could cause confusion. You get what I'm saying? But regardless, it wasn't productive. And regardless, it would have derailed the conversation. So it was something that was on my mind. And I'm like, damn, did he ever meet this woman? You know what I'm saying? And think about it. It was two other brothers that came behind her. It wasn't just her. It was like two other brothers, and that other brother got like low self-esteem or family issues or something. You know what I'm saying? But it was just kind of weird to me. Like, why would you? And this ain't the space for it. And if you did have an issue, say I never met you before in my life, but if you did have the issue, why would you mention it in a space where it's full of like other like that's a family conversation. You get what I'm saying? It's a family conversation. If we're gonna have that, let's not even have that online. You feel what I'm saying? So it was really weird to me because I don't know. I just thought that was weird. But that's why I did not say anything. And sometimes it's best just not to say nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't
Yes,
want
sir.
to fuel the situation
Yeah,
and
that's
derail the topic.
I love it. That's what I'm trying to identify and trying to help my people to see the various tactics. Those you just coming in, we talked a little bit about some mice. We're talking about money, ideology, coercion, and ego. And these pretty ladies coming up in here, that appeals to your ego. Ooh, damn, this fine ass girl talking to me. I'm the shit. Ooh, I'm about to get me something tonight. She coming up here. No, man, she coming, she using you to get to the people. Savannah, what's on your mind? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for hosting the space, Nikki. Wani, thank you. Yeah. Um, Answering the title, are females used? Thank you. In chat, sorry. Appreciate everyone. Um, oh wow. Yeah. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you really don't need source to really state that a lot of men think with their penis. And even if they were being used, some men don't mind being used. They don't mind being, they don't like, sometimes they don't even realize that's how stupid they are, right? And I think that's like the sad part about it is that sometimes it's not even about sex. When you look at a lot of countries, yes, sex is not off the table when it comes to coercion. That is something that they will say by any means necessary. But sometimes it's not even about sex. Sometimes it's just about getting through a dude's mind, right? And it's not hard. You guys are very simple. Not to say like that's a bad thing. It's just it's not rocket science, right? And that's where I think the bad part comes into it, because I think we are such a trusting, or we quote unquote loving people, right? Where we maybe don't see the play up front, but it's like we've seen the patterns over and over and over. It's just up to you to be willing to watch. And if you invite them and keep inviting them, then you're the fool, right? And I think a lot of people are new to spaces, and so they don't see the patterns, and so they don't understand. So they'll continue to be the fools, and just leave it at that. But yeah, thank you.
No cap. And unfortunately, what she said was true. A lot of men think with the wrong head. Juicy, what's on your mind? Good to see you.
Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak in your space. Shout out to Nikki the God and Wani. Had a great convo with Nikki earlier today. I'm so glad you hosted the space. I seen Tariq retweeted it out, so shout out to Tariq for that. I believe that a lot of brothers, whether they're part of the movement or not, need to be able to differentiate what type of women to gravitate towards in regards to these spaces, online, offline, whatever the case is. If you see that the women that are using their toxic femininity to draw attention away from the movement, throw a flag on the play. If you hear women that comes around to cause diversions, or they're in the back channel, they're not on the stages, they're not speaking, they're not adding anything intellectual to the conversation, they're not adding anything of substance to the movement, but they're in the back channels, they're poking, they're, hey, what you doing, big heading, they're doing all that to get to men, so that they can, do whatever little motives, ulterior motive that they may have. It's used as a distraction, it's used as um division, because a lot of times, and this is no shade to, to men, I'm not going to call them stupid or anything like that, because some men, they just would rather be amongst or around women more than men, and that's perfectly okay, just long as you don't pick up their behaviors, ideology, and you pillow talking with the wrong females that actually don't care about our people in totality. Get stay around women that actually care about, what's going on with our people, and say, hey, how can I help you with what you're doing? If she in your inbox and she ain't asking you what she can do to help you get further to what you're trying to do, don't entertain it. No, she's causing, she pillow talking with him, and coming over to you telling you nonsense that's causing conflict, that's another issue. You know, I absolutely have no problem with any man, especially our FBA brothers, because we need to, build the family back up. So I have a family first philosophy at this point. Yes, if you find you a good sister, which a lot of brothers would not have access to these type of women if it wasn't for Tariq, the FBA movement, the grassroots movement, you wouldn't be access to some of the most brilliant, beautiful, down to earth, kind, caring, considerate, proactive Black women in this country. I may not know how to respond to that. You don't even got to really just be a man of leadership, substance, drive, and determination, and have a plan. And trust, believe that women are going to come. You're going to be the gravity. That's not hard, but just be careful about the ones that are feminists. There are feminists in this movement. Facts. I hear it all the time. You may be FBA, you may not be, but it's a lot of females who are feminists. Y'all know I'm anti-feminist. I'm not with that. You have a disdain for the men in the movement. Some of them are. Some guys need work on their masculinity. We do know that. And those women are going to be around the catty guys, stirring the pot, keeping up the riffraff. The hyper feminists love the feminine men because it keeps them, going after the masculine men and the feminine women, a part of the movement. They actually work hand in hand together, if you ask me. So yes, as far as it pertains to the title of space, are female spies used to infiltrate FBA spaces? Do goofy men invite them? Absolutely, especially ones who may be simpish and sellish. You know, they may not have access to this type of caliber of women that come along with this movement and this work. And so they'll feed into the propaganda. They'll feed into the tea tending. When I hear men tea tending and clocking that tea, I'm like, nigga, what are you doing? What are you building? What have you built? Look at your year. Look back on 2024. What have you accomplished as far as this movement is concerned? And look at the women around you. You can really tell the type of man he is based off the women that he's surrounded around. And that should let you know right there. I yield my mic.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and this could go a whole bunch of different ways. But what Juicy said was very fascinating. You know, I don't claim to be anything that I hadn't been. You know what I'm saying? But I've had a lot of problems in my life, but women has never been a problem. Um, you know, and why am I saying that? I'm saying that because a lot of dudes just really want female attention, and A, they don't gravitate female attention, and or B, they wasn't taught how to go out and get some female attention the proper way. So a trained agent like Andrew Bustamante, they're trained to identify this stuff. Man, we could talk about this shit all night. I let's just say I'm protecting identity here because this person's kind of close to me. She may or may not be a family member. I'm gonna leave it right there. This person got her dream job. She was an agent, a federal agent, like a TV dream job. She's very attractive, and she got married and had a beautiful little family and had this big federal job with a gun, jumping on planes, going to work looking like a model. She came to work one day and her badge was, you know, her ID was deactivated. She's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, well, anyway, went home and was contacted and said she lost her top secret clearance. A lot of agencies give you real high clearance. And her clearance was revoked. And she was like, "What the hell?" Well, it turns out her clearance, her federal um, top secret crypto clearance was revoked because her husband, without her knowing it, was cheating on her. That's how dangerous this shit is. How does this fit into the title? Like Juicy said, these spies will sink not only your ship, they'll sink everybody's ship that's around you. And the federal agencies, you know, the big dogs, the people who run this thing, know that all too well. Um, by revoking your clearance, if your significant others is having an affair, that happened to that guy. What's the guy's name? The guy who worked on UFOs, one the physicist. I can't think of his name.
Lavar.
Yeah.
Did you say
Oh, you were saying something?
Lonnie? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name.
Did you say Lavar is his name? What's his first name?
Lazar.
Lazar.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah. That shit. That's the worst story. And I kind of like that guy. He seems like a normal dude, but this
He
genius,
was.
this genius was working at allegedly. It wasn't Area 50, the alleged Area 51. It was the alleged S4, which was even more top secret than the alleged Area 51. And he said he was doing his thing, just doing some wild engineering, and same shit. Got fired. I mean, got like put on, you know, got his badge got deactivated. I was like, what the fuck? And they were like, oh, well, we're thinking about letting you go because of your security breach. I'm like, how the fuck am I a security breach? Well, it turns out his wife was cheating on him, and she was cheating on him with a pilot. And
That happened with Bob Lazar?
yeah, you didn't
Yeah, they
know
had to
that?
do a check on the wife too. Yeah, they had to do a check on
What?
Yeah,
everybody.
and
Yeah.
he said that's how he found out his wife was cheating on him.
Wow.
Imagine that. That's like some suicide territory. I think he was suicidal. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll continue. Like I was saying
Go ahead, one.
before in the room, 2 to 3 years ago, I was a co host, a sidekick, a mascot with this host. And do you like me as a mascot, sidekick, or co host? I don't know which one I am. Anyway, um, and then I found out he was talking with Somali women. He was starting these fights with Somali trolls on the stage, but behind the scenes was talking to these people and getting pictures and stuff. Uh, and also getting pictures from a transgender who was now angry with me and attacking me on the stage. And I'm like, what? Why am I like, why is this person mad all of a sudden and not being put in its place? So that was incident number one. There's been
Yeah,
multiple,
all of those things that used to happen that never made any sense to us back then, and they still don't make
yes.
sense now. Yeah.
So that was the main incident. There's been little incidences in between, but main incident number one, that's the one that let me know that this was possible. That people would exchange these pictures in the back channel and talk on the phone, have these personal conversations, and then all of a sudden their attitude changes, or they have like a dual personality on the stage and behind the scenes. So the next incident, two people went away for an event and they had a fight. They came back and they wanted people to draw lines. So that caused a division. A failed booty call was supposed to divide the group because these people fumbled fucking. You're not smart enough to fuck. Like, what is wrong with this generation? Lord, help me. So, because they couldn't figure out where their genitals were related, I had to be cussed out. Okay. So, anyway, I took that and I said, okay, so I'll just hang out over here on this side since the other side was mad at me because I wouldn't take the other person's side. I got thrown over to the other side. I said, okay, fine. So I go over to the other side. Now, all of a sudden, two drunk bitches are jumping up on the stage asking me if I'm dating the host. It like, what? Co-hosting is not dating, guys. You're out of your minds. So they kept doing it and doing it. And guess what? The host didn't correct them. The host didn't say, you shut up. Stop attacking the co-host like that. We're not talking on the phone. We're not dating. But guess what? He was talking to them behind the scenes, but on the stage, he was saying how much he didn't like them and how, oh, you guys got kids and blah, blah, I don't like you. But then I found out they were talking to each other. They were talking to each other, and these broads are mad. This is their boyfriend, right? And they view me as taking their boyfriend. No, I'm just a co-host, not taking your boyfriend. Anyway,
See how quick? You see how quickly like the conversations that happen back line, on the offline, on the back end side, they're all orchestrated and they already know. And as soon as a woman comes around, you're instantly a threat. The most intelligent women are the threats. It ain't even got to be about looks. Like the lady said, it don't have to be about sex. A lot of times it's about sex because a lot of men ain't getting none. Where's your wife? Y'all be on here talking all this shit. Don't speaking on another man's dick. Why are you talking about what another man is doing with his dick? What? Why do you care where he put his dick at? First of all, second of all, where's your wife? Where's your family? Y'all be no, seriously, no. If you're gonna come in here into the movement and meet beautiful, brilliant, FBA ladies, build a family. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Montana. This man married a beautiful, gorgeous sister in the FBA movement, and they just had their first baby. He married her. Okay, y'all niggas looking for pussy. Y'all distractions. Sorry, Bonnie. Go ahead.
I didn't know that about Montana.
Oh my God, she
Yeah, they
Oh,
had a beautiful baby. He
is.
had a baby with another
sweet.
FBA woman who he met in the movement. That yeah,
Oh my
they had a beautiful
God.
little
Why don't
girl.
we hear about the good stories?
He got a family now. Y'all niggas, you ain't got no matching pajamas going on. Y'all ain't got nothing going on. A lot of these men, that's why they have a problem with Professor Allen. That's why they have a problem with Tariq. They have wives and families. They have families. A lot of men, they're intolerable. They don't have the money. They don't even have the communication skills to even talk a woman out their draws, let alone the ability to take care of one for the long term. So they be in their feelings about it. You can probably pull a lot of hoes. Anybody can pull hoes. Married men can pull hoes. Can you get a wife?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, Juicy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very unfortunate. A lot of men, you know, I love you, brothers, man, but we got to be real. We got to shame the, you know, tell the truth and shame the devil. A lot of men just have not been taught how to talk to females. You know what I'm saying? And because there ain't been no men around. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. And what I've experienced in my life. uh, you know, and I'm not the, you know, the most mackish dude, but you know, I've never had women problems. I always would have to fight because dudes would see girls liking me, and then oh, we gotta start fighting. But what I'm trying to say is, dudes would see women being attracted to or women giving any type of attention towards another dude, and then that dude becomes a target. And that's very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I've always been the type of dude, if I didn't know how to do something, and I see a dude shining at whatever I didn't know how to do, I say, "Hey man, uh, can you tell me how to do that?" I was in grad school and I worked at Planet Fitness. I'm supporting my family, support my wife. She was not working. I'm teaching at a high school and working at Planet Fitness with all these degrees and shit. And this dude pull up in a fucking Lamborghini, and just start working out. And I just, you know what I said, man? I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I was like, "Man, I fucking love that car, man. How'd you get that?" And he told me, "I do this, I do that." And you know what I did? I said, "Hey, bro, can I buy you lunch one day and just bring a notepad?" You know, I was gonna spend $100. I didn't give a fuck if he said Houston's. I was gonna pay for it because I was sick of being broke. You know what I'm saying? Sick of barely paying the bills and you know paying the mortgage and shit. And so check this out. Let me tell you how rich people think. This is a rich white dude. He wanted to eat at Chick-fil-A. I said anywhere. He could have said Houston. He said Chick-fil-A. So we sat at Chick-fil-A and I took a little notepad and listened to him talk for about an hour and 30 minutes. As it turns out, the dude, I'm gonna say his name, Andrew, was poor and he lived with his mama and stacked up them G's working at Burger King, working at the grocery store, and bought up real estate in Memphis, right? And started fixing it up and put real estate on Airbnb. He makes $30,000 a month. And just from that little bit of game I got from that dude for an hour, like I made a good bit of money. But that's what it's all about: humbling yourself and asking those who know. That's all this is. But a lot of dudes don't want to do that because they've been raised in a feminine environment. And I love my sisters, but I'm just saying a man shouldn't act in feminine energy. And when a man acts in feminine energy, the consequences are just not the same. Go ahead, Savannah.
Thank you.
I
Sorry, I
don't
didn't
know if
mean to
I.
mute you.
Oh, I thought I
I
did
was
that.
going to speak, but we'll let the audience speak, and then
Oh,
I'll
I'm
speak
sorry, Nikki.
last.
I
No,
didn't know
I'll
you were gonna
speak
speak.
last. I'll let the audience speak first. Go ahead.
No, you can go. I can wait.
I'll
No, you
go.
can
Cause
wait. No,
I was
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
okay.
I'll
Wani.
go. So I was still on the second major incident. So one of the women that jumped on the stage was Puerto Rican and drunk. And she's been on everybody's stage angry and drunk and Puerto Rican. But she says she's FBA and she back channels these bimbos and therefore they just go for it. And that's fine. I can just leave the room. But the other one, this woman jumped on the stage and said that she liked fat black girls. And then somebody sent me a video of her saying that she liked white men and women. Then I went to her page and she was sure enough reposting sexy pictures of white women. This is the person angry with me over the co host. Okay. Very weird people. So I had
Yep.
to get out of that. I had to uh, move away from that co-host situation because this person got very aggressive and dangerous. I said, "Wait a minute, host, who is this? This person is an avatar. This broad is all over the place. She knows me, but I don't know her." And he just went like he was like, "I'm defending my girlfriend." What? She knows me, but I don't know her. That puts me in a very bad place. So best thing I can do is get the hell up away from you, silly niggas. And that's what I did. So then the next incident happened today. Cliffhanger. Who's next?
Okay, I'll
Well,
go.
let me just throw
Oh,
something in.
go ahead.
Um, I do agree, even though I've been like an introvert for the longest, but I do agree with Tariq when he says it's important that we get out and network and meet people. And when I went to the rally for reparations in June, I'm not putting anyone down, but like I'm a perfectionist with certain types of things, and I worry about what people think about me. And I realized that these are just regular everyday people, with regular everyday issues, and people showed up how they showed up. But a lot of these people, with all due respect, because I don't think I'm better than anyone, some of these people are sitting in spaces all day for a reason. Let's just keep it a buck. They're not getting anything done. I talked to Mikhail earlier, and he was like, he had had enough. He had had enough of people just not getting anything done, and he wasn't talking about anybody who you're talking about, Wani. He was just talking about in general. There's a lot of people just wasting time sitting on spaces, talking in circles, doing nothing all day. These are people who you would never entertain in real life. These are people who you would never sit down and have a cup of coffee with. And I'm not trying to insult the audience or anyone in here. A lot of these people are highly intelligent, but I had to come to the realization that I was getting upset on an app about people who okay, professor, who I would never deal with in real life because they had no goals, and all they want to do is just sit up and fight with people all day long. But I want to add to this conversation. Our female spies used to infiltrate FBA spaces. Do goofy men invite them? Well, you don't know how many times I got ready to make this space. There's so many times I got ready to make this space and canceled it and talked over it because of the amount of female spies that are among us. And not all of them are just spies. A lot of them have bad behavior, poor behavior that is not being corrected because somebody's attracted to them. I've had women who came straight out and told me that even though they show up to Tariq spaces, they retweet Tariq, they retweet Professor Black Truth. Honest to God, they told me that they are bored with the movement. They are really not into Black empowerment. Their goal is to one day grow their OnlyFans. Um, I have had women come around and make a profile, had never known anything about what FBA was. And I'm just, I'm trying not to make enemies today, but this is something I've been holding in for years. I've been sitting back watching this, kind of like being the gatekeeper. There's some that they'll come around, and somebody's going to always be new to a movement. So I get that. But then you got people who are just pretending because they're trying to grow their social media presence, and they've tried other ways, and they're like, okay, so let me just jump on this and let me pretend to be interested in Neely Fuller, even though I really don't like him. Let me pretend, let me go ahead and quote the great scholars who Nikki likes, the way Nikki quotes hers, and I'm going to retweet everything she retweets just so I can blend in, even though I came here to take nasty pictures and show them off. So people are just maybe mad, but I'm not the one who's doing those things. This is something that has been in my blood for years. I've been around most, and I keep saying this, and I'll wear it as a badge. I didn't come here I didn't come here for the wrong reasons. I came here because I live in one of the most segregated cities in the country. I live in Milwaukee. I have seen some horrible, evil things happen. I lived through that Jeffrey Dahmer. situation. I remember when my friend came and told me about how she told the cops about Conrad sent them some phone when he um, ran out of Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment and how the cop forced him to go back in there. I have seen the most racist things happen. I've seen white people laugh at black children drowning and saying, oh, well, they should have learned how to swim. So when I say this is in me, it's in me. So it offends me when these mostly women come into the movement looking for something else and they try to pretend and they find women like me and Wani, Juicy, and they start copying and pretending to be something. And to the point where somebody thinks, oh, well, they're just alike. No, you pretended to be my friend. Excuse me, y'all, bitch. You pretended to be my friend. You did everything you saw me doing just so that you could get around this person and that person and turn so many people against each other to the point where we're not even focused on fighting white supremacy anymore. We're focused on who has the biggest boobs or who's having sex with whom. Now,
I think I got the
I'm
biggest
gonna.
just to ask just to answer the question, make it clear. I'm clearly a 36 triple D, you know what I'm saying? Not to brag or anything,
You
but
know what? Who asked?
um, it's a lot of melanated milk, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, for the boob guy.
I'm not talking about you,
You know, I
Juicy. I wasn't trying to throw shots
I'm
at
just
you.
since you brought it up, I'm just kidding. Go
No,
ahead.
I was. I honest to God, I wasn't trying to throw shots at you.
I know,
I just see
I
a
know.
lot.
I look, we spoke earlier today, and this is
Yeah, we do.
they're going to
Go
go
ahead.
for physical first. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us, a lot of we don't. I don't thirst trap. You don't thirst trap. We don't thirst trap. We know we can light up these timelines.
Hmm.
I want my genius to be respected. I had a juicy, but it's the genius that I like to put to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Because that is that's what's going to stand. Beauty will fade. Bodies will, you're not going to look how you look now at 70. It's okay. Life happens, but at the end of the day, if men are just here exploiting your body or just here for looks, because that's what toxic feminists do. Toxic feminists,
Mm.
hyper feminists do. They lead with physical because they know men are visual. They know men are visual, so they lead with physical. They lead with the hey daddy, and they lead with all the sexual innuendos and all of that. They lead with that. We can do the same thing. It's not hard, but we don't lead with that. And that's something that's sacred to us,
Hmm.
to that partner, that companion, that life partner that we're building. You know what I'm saying? We're y'all, they vibrating at low frequency levels. I just can't. And like you said, Nikki, a lot of these people, no shade, and I don't sit high enough to look down on anybody, but a lot of us have a lot to lose with associating with the wrong people. You know,
Right.
I can enlighten you, I can encourage you, I can inspire you, I can uplift you, but be amongst you around my day to day, or are me pulling you into my world will be catastrophic because of your mentality and your behavior and the way you move. You're too childish. That's why some people
Mm.
they get fanned out. It's a lot of men. Men be groupies too. The men be
Can I add to
No, just
what
wait
you
a minute. Just wait a minute. Keep going,
okay,
Juicy.
go ahead. I thought she was done with
Keep
her
well,
point.
keep going, Juicy.
but y'all need to know, ladies, men be groupies too. They'll knock you down to get next to the man. They'll knock you down to get over to Tyreek. They'll knock you down or talk crazy to get on his stage. They be geeked more than the women do. And it's really embarrassing as a man, like, oh my goodness, this man is a groupie. And they really like that. Let me get a photo with you. You selfie looking ass nigga. Y'all want to take selfies with niggas. You is a groupie. What? What you want to
Yeah, yeah.
find?
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of it. I've seen a lot of strange behavior, and I just don't know what to make out of it. I've seen some men act like kind of feminine over this, and it's confusing to me. So But I guess sometimes I do focus too much on the women, and because I am a woman, and so I want to try to set a standard. But the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of people here who are pretending. They are pretending to be on code. They pretending to care about reparations. Some of them ain't even of this lineage. They lying. They just straight up lying. Some of them pretend to be, oh, I'm half white, and you're, what is your other half? And it's just tiring because uh, why don't you go to where you need to go to get what you need instead of coming over here causing problems with people who really want to see a change, who really live for this, who are really loyal to this. Why are you coming over here causing problems? And I and it kind of makes you bitter at some of the, I'm not going to say the men, but the people who allow it to happen, and who don't, who aren't strong enough to fight back against temptation. And I could never just be talking about one person. So I hope no one is arrogant, not one person is arrogant enough to think I'm talking about them, because there's been so many people who I've seen this happen with. I've seen people create websites based on this movement or this lineage, and I'm like, where were they 3 weeks ago? And I look up their stuff and I'm like, wait a minute, they just start doing this. They just all of a sudden said, hey, I want to do this. And then here they are. And then you hear them talking about, and then right before the election, they're like, oh my God, I think I'm just going to go ahead and vote for Kamala. I think I like Democrats. You wanted to be a Democrat the whole time when you came over here. You were just hanging out with us because we are the coolest people. You're not real, but I'm gonna let somebody else go because I'm trying not to say something that may offend someone, because there's a lot with me. And I know this was your creation, Wani, but I took over your space. I'm sorry, sweetie.
No, it's not. It's the professor's idea.
Oh,
But it's something that just needs to be addressed because there is a hyper focus. I won't say hyper focus, but it has been focused on men because we as women just expect men to step up and be leaders. But if you are weak to the pussy, excuse my language, if you weak on that end, you're easily distracted by women, that's the point of entry. They'll use the woman as a point of entry. Y'all don't know the story about Delilah? Like what yeah, I mean, like come on. And they're perfectly fine. You get hung up in the beauty, you get hung up in the body, you literally lose track. And that's a dangerous man because he'll do anything against he'll sabotage himself and an entire movement over some pussy, what they say. And it's embarrassing, but women know that, right? It's women who know this, and they'll put you in a comatose state where you are not active. And that's dangerous.
that
There's
is
a
very
there's,
dangerous.
there's a book called the I don't know if y'all know about Zane, if y'all used to read Zane books. Like if you from the hood, a lot of the girls used to read.
Oh, were you next, Tyrone? Go ahead.
Oh no, no,
I
I just
thought
wanted to say
that
something.
Big
I
Hawk was
wasn't next,
next.
however. So I don't want to be rude, but
All
go
right.
ahead. After they finish talking, then I'll come in.
Was Big Hawk next? I can't remember. Go ahead,
It
Big
was
Hawk.
Big Hawk. Go ahead, Big Hawk.
No, I just wanted to add a little bit. Shout out to Professor Nikki Wani and the rest of everybody. I wanted to just say that I think that all you guys are right on those levels, on those points, but I really think there needs to be a solution created for this type because it isn't. I mean, you're fighting a uphill battle as far as society, especially when you're dealing with new people who come in, as far as society is concerned, in the way that they're programmed, they're coming in like this. It's just like you come, like, if you was ever raised in church, you coming in from the world. You don't know these principles and values at which you must follow in order to be in the realm of God, or even to walk with God. So these people in their walk with the lineage, and their view and their perception, and let's just keep it real, a lot of people, because I have a very intuitive perspective on how the world views black people, they just know that they can exploit niggas. They know that when the Latinos come hunt, or the white women come hunting, they know that they could exploit these niggas because they, you know, uh, you know, uh, black women don't really respect or have the same love that they used to have, or even the worldly view of how they view, you know, other women. And, yeah, let's be honest, they some tender dick ass niggas. They got no cultural, nor no ethnic pride about themselves. These are people that come in with that. So for a lot of people that follow FBA, what draws you to it, and a lot of people that's in the movement, they have a lot of ethnic pride. They have a lot of pride in their lineage, like proud of that, proud of where they could, you know what I'm saying? But you have these black people that come in, they flimsy as hell, and they may be narcissistic, so they'll play a role just to get somewhere where, but who they are is always going to come out. Doesn't matter how much ethnic pride you have. If you's a goddamn swirler, and you could hide the fact that you like white men, but eventually, shit, you ain't gonna be able to resist the temptation of what you are and what's instilled inside of you. It's just gonna come out. All of these people, everything that they're about, it's going to come out to the light. But the solution to people who are genuine, who want to stay on the path, they need something to do. And they get bored with just straight knowledge. So it got to be an all around thing, all around sport, and people who are at the top, because power trickles from the top down. How is it structured? Are we making sure that these men's needs are met? Because yes, men need women. And some of these motherfuckers, come on, this is the internet. In real life, it's a little different. The internet brings a lot of weak-minded ass niggas, a lot of temptational, they ain't got the strength God gave them. You know what I'm saying? They ass nerdy as hell, ain't never talked to a woman. Some of them raised by their mom, they want to sit online all day. Yeah, that's okay. But at the same time, uh, some of these real men are in here. They need something to do. And if they single or if they married. Now, we got a problem with married people. Married motherfucking men, god damn. Dude, you can't love your fucking wife? That's the problem right there. They are, and even married women. Fortunately, motherfuckers get bored. Excuse me, like, they get bored of each other. And that's not right, because then they start sneaking. It's better to tell someone. It's better to live by rules, regulations, and principles of a person that's going to one thing is hard to do. It's hard to walk the line of being a principle orientated person, because you know temptation, it's all kind of things that people not going to be straight up about things. But we need a structuredized, uh we need something structural for these people to do, and some structure for them to be involved with, or you're going to have this problem where the movement is going to suffer the blow of the infiltration, because it's here, and these women are here, and these men are here, and they in this motherfucker right now. And they just like exploiting black people. you know, all of this goddamn divestment sex is an act of war on these ethnics. They're coming to ethnocide us, and they don't give a good goddamn. They just trying to get whatever they can't make it in their own goddamn ethnic group. They come over to suck your blood. That's what they do to niggas. And
That's why we do. That's why we do lineage checks on people sometimes.
but
Sometimes
shit,
that's why
lineage.
when people come on our stages,
But see,
we
even
ask them
lineage.
what they are because they're lying.
Yeah, but
Go
okay, and
ahead.
That's good too. Lineage checks is good, and that is a good tool. But even people that even is within the lineage, that don't mean that they can't be no damn Benedict Arnold, because there's a lot of them motherfuckers too. They
Hey,
be.
you got cool in the lineage. You have infiltrators in the lineage of the lineage. You have people who are of the lineage who are just not for the lineage, right? Or for the on code. You have people that are of the lineage that are off code.
Yeah, the off code lineage motherfucker. Yeah, exactly right.
Through the off code within their household family and off code with the family. You understand what I'm saying? We gonna have them type. But I agree what he has said. A lot of people here, they just for content. They content creators. They finna fucking shut down TikTok. Where you think they gonna come? And so you see who running it over here. No, for real, Savannah. You see people coming over here, and they just seem like these random people trying to. They see somebody, they clout chase. They see who got the most people in their room. They chase the numbers. Who got the fattest rooms? Who rooms is popping? Let me make my way to the stage and make my grandstand. They clout chase. That's what content.
And they copy, yeah, they copy and clout chase,
Sit
and
in the
it
listener.
turns into a lot of resentment
No, they listen
towards
on
them.
the back end. They listen in the windows. They window watch. They learn the language, study and steal, and position themselves, infiltrate, and then position themselves. Running up on Tariq's stage, I don't really feel everybody getting up on the stage because they be looking for a grandstand moment. So they'll come in and they'll sign up for a rundown. They do this on TikTok. They do it on Bigo. They do it on purpose. They know they know how to run down, and so they'll go along with it and they'll pull him in and he'll entertain it. And then now people who are opposed to Tariq, they go start a space and then pull all the infiltrators around. They do that shit. I mean, these are tactics that we already know. People think we slow. We're
But
not.
okay, but the other thing is that we have to figure out, is this a male driven is this being male driven, or this being female driven? Now some people
It's
want to be
listen,
like,
yo, bro. It's both. It's
Which
both.
one?
Listen,
yeah,
look.
see, now when
I
you
tell you
get
It
this,
into
sis.
that, let me tell
is
you something.
both.
Hold up now, because when you say that, and when you get into that, I want to be clear on what you're doing. Ain't no, let me tell you something. This in this world ain't no such motherfucking thing. Y'all think y'all can do it? No. It's got to be. You better choose what you're going. If you had to choose a route, what would you? Let me just ask. What would you choose?
What do you mean by what would we choose if we had to choose?
If it's going to be if this is going to be male driven or female driven, what would you choose? Because there's no such thing as in between. A lot of people like to believe that that's true, but no, in all societies
It's not.
built around the world, ain't no
It's not.
such damn
I
thing.
think that's a trick question. I think that's a trick question.
It's both. It's men and women that get infiltrated. It's not gender specific.
Nah. Hold on. I think that's a trick question. Like, this is what I mean by a trick question. Why would you say, is it gonna be male driven or female driven? With like, we're working in unison. We're working in
Who?
unison. You get what I'm saying?
What
That's
is?
not even
What is? What?
that's not part of the conversation. It's a trick question.
Well, it's not really a trick question. Now I understand that you may have females that have the ability to lead, or are in leader
Can we get a different
maybe.
perspective?
What you mean?
Wait,
A different.
My bad.
who just
I said that
yeah,
was
just
Savannah. Savannah said that.
okay. After
I don't know. I don't know.
Big Hawk is done talking, I'm gonna speak for a little bit, and then Tyrone is gonna talk after. Okay, go ahead, Big Hawk.
Okay, so I'm just saying we have to because look,
No,
if this is a
I'm
is
saying
a
he just saying to be saying, this don't make sense to me. Go to the next person. Professor Allen, come get him.
what don't make no sense to you?
I don't like what you're talking about. You are derailing the conversation with some
No,
OGs,
I'm not derailing the conversation. Let
you
me
may,
just say this.
but you're not
Let
adding
me say
substance.
this. Let me say this because we
Hold on,
live we
Okay,
big
live
hawk.
in.
I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. I'm gonna give you
Well,
30
yeah. Let
Yeah,
me
seconds
go
land my
ahead.
and then
plane.
we're
Let me
gonna go
land
on
my
to
plane.
Tyrone. Okay,
Yeah, let me
30
land my
seconds.
plane.
Go ahead.
Just because she disagree, that's fine. You don't have to cut me off because of that. But listen, uh we live in a patriarch society. Now, whether you want to believe that is trying to switch over in this women dominance, no. We need to really kind of cut out that bull crap, because guess what? Women leading a damn household has destroyed the black family. And the Democrats use this against us, people. And don't act like I'm sitting here talking out my Win Dixie out the side of my damn neck. We all know it's true. So I'm asking, did men decide to say, "Look, I'm gonna take the leadership position," and women got
Hold on,
on our
Big Hawk,
bandwagon,
Big Hawk,
or who was
Big
on?
Hawk. I
Hold on
see.
a
I don't like
second.
being a mute monster, but Big Hawk, that's kind of off topic. So
That's really off topic.
this is a really important topic, and like you're on a topic like with, and I agree with you, but that's not the topic. This
Right.
topic specific. Let's stay on target. Nikki,
We
I don't know
do
who was next.
agree, but
Yeah, Big Hawk, feel free to visit our space. We cover we are here almost every day or at least every other day, and we cover so many different topics. So just come and just listen in, and you never know if when it's going to be what you came to talk about. But thank you for coming to the stage, and you have a great day. Okay.
Yeah, peace, peace. So I think this is why reading is so important, because reading strengthens your concentration and your focus. You know what I'm saying? It's a natural Adderall. You know what I'm talking about? So like that right there, that's not cool. But anyway, I want to give you like a story recently. Like I was on Twitter, right? And it was a black woman, and she brought up a Caucasian man, right? And okay, it's cool. I'll listen to what he got to say or whatever. And the name of the space was called the Black Community, right? So I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's called the Black Community. Let me see what they talk about. So it's a couple of black women on stage. There's white men in the audience too. So he's talking about the household being broken up in Section 8, right? I come in, I didn't know he was white. Nobody checked him. He's a white man, but with a black profile. But he got the Pharaoh face, right? It's the Pharaoh face with blue eyes on it. Nigga, we not gonna put a Pharaoh face with blue eyes on it. That's just not something that we do. We're gonna have the Pharaoh face with the regular face. It's not gonna have the blue eyes on it. So when I came in the chat, I said, yo, why is he even talking? This is a Caucasian man talking about Section 8. Like, in the name of the title is called the Black Community. You feel what I'm saying? The women was vibing. The women was vibing. And this is how I knew he was like Caucasian. The man biological rhythm in his tone just threw the whole conversation off. Completely threw the whole conversation off. The man started getting frustrated, right? Like, no, he stayed quiet for a little bit. And then once he started talking again, he stayed quiet for like 15 minutes straight and just let the women start talking again. But what I noticed is that the black woman voice started shaking. Soon as I started talking, right? And he yielded. I appreciate him for yielding, but he yielded for like 15 minutes. So she started reading something about Section 8, or the black women in the household, this and that. It's an old conversation, right? This is what happens next, right? This is what happens next. He gets frustrated, and then he start cursing. None of the black men in the chat said nothing. I'm like waiting, because I'm waiting for the host to say something, because it really ain't my space, but I'm already itching. So then I had to tell him, yo, watch your mouth. So he did change his tone. But basically the technique is for him to feel comfortable of reprimanding our women in front of us. And the men aren't saying anything. And what the white man does, he uses politics, because he knows black women love politics. She wants to see a change. So that's how she want to see change, right? So he uses that as a way to enter her psyche. You get what I'm saying? And start to insinuate different things and plant seeds. And then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that man is married. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter if the white man is married or not. But that's how the white man uses politics. So when Democratic Party come and all of that, they utilizing the black women. They're having conversations with our women that they shouldn't be having. You feel what I'm saying? And they're keeping them stuck in a mental state of like a little anger or resentment towards their own men. You feel what I'm saying? And then there's some black men that's not gonna stand up and do anything about it. And that caught my eye in the Twitter space. Like, I was like, yo, this is kind of weird. Like, and I was like the only person that had said something. Like, so I just, yeah, you gotta watch these people, because They don't have the same vernacular, and you could tell. You know what I'm saying? And really, like, you gotta keep your eye open, man, in this space. You know what I'm saying? Peace.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you so much.
Um,
Um,
I just
Go
wanted,
ahead.
I just wanted to add something too, because I was going to mention three incidences that happened to me, and so on the second one, I forgot to mention that we have a huge problem with people lying about their backgrounds. You know, somebody that I thought was FBA for 5 years is not. And another person told me that they were part South American, or she said she was South American over on Clubhouse, but then all of a sudden it's full FBA and backed up because some people got some boob pictures and some phone sex. So now, if you try to bring that up, oh no, we're not listening to any of that. This person is verified and certified now, based on sex. So now on the third issue, because that was the second issue. On the third issue, this one really caught me off guard. This is a person who I've known for, I guess 3 years, however long I've been on um, Twitter. And it's distressing. It's one thing to, fuss with Africans, but to fuss with your own group, that does affect me. Okay. So today or yesterday, we were in a room. We didn't do a room, so we went to visit someone else's room, and there was a woman in there, and she hit on the professor. And she was very nasty about it. And then she followed up and said, he said something about being married. I don't care. I do women too. I thought it was very nasty and disrespectful. She didn't read the room. It wasn't that kind of room or that kind of party. So I started to say, this doesn't sound like something a Black American would say. So I simply said, what is her lineage? I think I did that today because I heard that last night. And this morning I said, what is her lineage? And I saw that someone had complained about her um, lying on FBA men. So there's complaints about her in the chat. I said, what's her lineage? And somebody popped up and said, she's half the FBA. I said, okay. What's like based on what? Oh, she's been doxxed. And I said, oh, okay, great. This is easy. You're going to give me the docs information. So he didn't provide the docs information, but what he did say was her name, or what he said was her name. I don't know if it's her name. So I look up her name. She's got a specific name that is not it's not a Black American father, because he said her mother is white and her father's FBA. That's because you want to keep talking to her and putting her in the room. So you're just going to lie and say she's FBA and dare anybody to come against it. So her name was definitely not an FBA name. In fact, it was a name associated with parts of Russia. So we already know. See, you can't play games with people that know how to do genealogy. This doesn't even take a deep search. I already know that's not a Black American man. That's like you giving me a Polish name and telling, oh, that's a Black American man. No, it's not. Okay. So anyway, plus I saw her face, and she's not Black American. Anyway, so instead of just backing down, um, because multiple people had said something, I had to be called a bunch of cat lady jokes. I don't have a cat. But apparently, the person said I needed a cat because, of course, I'm old. I was told I was lonely on the holidays, and that's why I was doing this. Said that they needed to take up a collection to buy me a cat. Then my lineage was questioned, and I posted it in the chat. So I had to be called a foreigner to defend this piece of ass. this fantastical piece of ass this person's never going to get, this married person, supposedly married. He said I was high, that I had dementia, and that I had Alzheimer's. All of that. All of these things to keep this dumbass lined up. So this piece of ass can hang out in the room and insult and lie on black American men and be rude. All of that, all of those names. Yeah, I threw some names back. Don't worry about it. Anyway, that came out of the blue because I would never expect. Uh, Again, he kept fighting and fighting, and oh no, she's FBA. Show me the proof she's not. Blah blah blah. All day long into the night. Never stopped. Okay, so that's it. I mean, like I don't know what to do with that person. There's nothing I can do. I just have to throw these people away because you're not going to keep arguing in the face of facts. You're wrong. You're not going to insult me over a foreign piece of ass. And this is going to be the third time, third major time, probably some in between that I didn't pay attention to, that somebody in the movement fucked me over a piece of dumb foreign ass.
Yep, it's quite frustrating when you yeah, that's I've seen it happen a lot. I saw it happen more so on Clubhouse because the lines were more blurred, the delineation movement was a little fresher, and people were still around each other, but it can be quite frustrating to have that happen. Yep. But
And
are we
how
going to
infiltration starts, Nikki,
go?
Wani. When we talk about infiltration, it's
Okay.
very strategic. So it may be subliminal, it may be subconsciously done. But it happens. And that's how women can manipulate men. Feminists will infiltrate. Feminists will use hypersexuality because a lot of foreign girls, a lot of women that are foreign, they're very sexual. Like they're extremely sexual. That's why you got passport bros running around the world sleeping with women that are infested with all kind of diseases and stuff like that because they don't even want to. They can't get a wife in America, so they'll settle for prostitutes in third world countries who don't have adequate medical care or insurance or different things like that to even get the health care, feminine health care that they need. But again, prettiest people can do the ugliest things. But that's I try to, I definitely teach my son, there's more to a woman than to her looks, and you really have to act like you don't even notice her looks sometimes. Some men get lost in looks and they lose sight of their goals. And I definitely didn't want a son that was like that, that's simp to the core. To me, I feel like that's a simp type of thing. But using there because there are feminists in the movement and hypersexual feminists who use toxic femininity and weaponize sex. What the guy said about the white man coming up or doing, like the submission he had in regards to white men positioning themselves. Anybody can create a profile on social media, multiple profiles. They'll use AI. They'll record your voice and use AI, right? It's called machine learning. We really need to know what we're up against here. They will sit and allow the machine to learn the voices and how we speak in these public platforms, create AI profiles, AI identities, and feed it what to say. Now, as far as like having a conversation and a dialogue back and forth or a debate back and forth, the technology in AI is not that sophisticated yet. But you can now record someone's voice. You can now record your voice to the AI. It'll learn your voice and then do your voiceovers for you. So they can create a space, and they can create a space and say, "Oh, this is Tariq's back channel, this is my backup account," and mute everybody or just leave everyone in listener. Um, put this whole long drawn out speech, um, more like a lecture instead of a back and forth conversation. Right? They put in lecture format and just let it run off. And people who don't know the difference, think about all the people who get scammed on Facebook. What's happening on Facebook? I'm just using this as an example, Professor and Nikki and Wani. I just need y'all to know what's happening. This is what's happening. There are emerging artists that have fan bases, that are not mainstream, that have verified accounts with the check mark and everything, that Facebook is allowing Africans, Africans to create fake profiles of Americans and scam their fan bases. There, there's an artist named Sir Charles Jones that I shared on my page. He is a blues and southern soul artist. He got into a heated argument with an individual who said that he owes her money because she booked him. And he said, "No, sweetie, that's not even my rate. I'm 45,000 per show. Whoever you pay, well, I need my money back. Whoever you gave your money to was not me nor my booking people. They had created a fake profile and they go and follow your entire follower list and start inboxing, hey, this is my backup page. Hey, this is my second page. Follow me here, back channel me, DM me." They're scamming Black Americans who have fan bases, independent artists who have huge fan bases, who are making money off of those fan bases. And Facebook is allowing it to happen. So many people. One of the artists that I work for, his name is Young Guy. Boosie is doing a big blues fest in Baton Rouge that I'll be at. All the top artists in Southern Soul and Blues is going to be on this. You go to Boosie page right now, you see it, the flyer. An artist gave his fan a hug. She came to his show. She said, "I've been in love with you for so and so and so and so. I'm so happy to finally meet you in person. I got our room, I got our this." And he looked at her like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Yeah, we've been dating for 3 months. Don't you remember?" And he has looked this woman in the face in front of her and her family. She drove or traveled from New Jersey or Brooklyn or whatever. They used him to catfish her. She actually came to see him because he puts, um, they put their booking. Hey, these are the dates that I'm booked on. This is where I'm going to be at on these dates to the public. She's like, "Oh, I'm finna go see my man." In her mind, she had built no. On the back end, she literally had built a conversation via text message with someone and had been sending them money, had been sending them this and that. And she's like, "I'm finna come see you." And led all the way up to approaching this artist, met him, and he had to tell her, it broke his heart, like, "Ma'am, I've never seen you or spoke to you a day in my life. Whoever you've been talking to, that wasn't me." And her family looked like what? Because in her mind, she truly believed that this man had developed a relationship with her. This is how bad it's getting. When we talk about cosplaying us as a people, they're capitalizing off of our talent, skills, monetizing through schemes and scams by using our faces and our images. And these platforms are allowing it because we mass report, and Facebook will say, "I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I don't see I we're not telling them to take the page down. Based off our research and our investigation, it doesn't look like anything negative happened. We're going to allow them to continue to do it." But they've checked the DMs, or they look in the back channel and the messages and seen that they've been reaching out to every single fucking fan. If you got 40,000 fans and 40,000 followers, you're going to go. Because the reason why I know, because they contact me. They don't know that I'm in close proximity of these artists, that I know them on a first name basis. I've been to their homes. So the scammers don't know that. They'll contact me saying, "Hey, thank you so much for supporting me." I was like, "You are a scammer. I know you're a scammer. Why the fuck are you DMing? You're manipulating and taking advantage of, and they're Africans." So no. So when
Yeah.
protect our people, like we really need protection. I'm just sharing at the scale that it's gotten to. The cosplaying has gotten to. They infiltrate, they learn us, they lie, They use our pictures, they use our images, use our voice, and they scheme and manipulate the people who love us the most. I yield my mic.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's
Oh,
Go
that's
ahead,
got me
Nikki.
triggered right there. And that just triggered the hell out of me that they do that. But go ahead, professors, because I know you have to talk when you can talk. So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. We're the sauce. That's just basically what it is. We're the sauce, and they're aggressively trying to get in our circle. Well, um, I have a theory behind that. If you look at the Pythagoras, um, well, Pythagoras stole. I'm being mean. Pythagoras copied um, uh, Egyptian science, Kemetic science, off the Temple of Edfu, I think. We call it numerology. And numbers are associated with occurrences. Everything's math. We live in a big equation. Everything's probability, right? It's deeper than that. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is Pythagoras wrote down the equations of numerology, and if you basically the Egyptians said the highest number is nine, and everything else is an expression of other numbers. So basically, you break down numbers. So 18 is really a nine. One plus eight is nine. I do that with my students. I show them that you can't get higher than nine. It just keeps repeating. So let's look at it. 10. That's one plus zero. What's one plus zero? One plus zero is one. 12. I mean 11. What's one plus one? That's two. You see, it's going over again. Well, what am I saying? I'm saying that we're entering into a new epoch of time. Um, and the number nine is a number of completion. A baby is born in 9 months. Gravity pushes down at you at 9.8 meters per second, et cetera, et cetera. So, what is the next year we're coming up into? We're coming up into a 9 year. That's 2025. Two plus zero is two. Two plus two is four. Four plus five is nine. So we're going into the end of something. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a lot of attention is being put on FBA. Everybody got us in their eye again. I think next year is going to be our year, and people are really trying to get in our circles to see what we're doing to get ahead of us, so they can parasite and vampire off our culture like they've been doing the whole fucking time. But I digress. Go. I had to go
I
ahead.
know, okay, real quick, Professor. I shared a video about Black people, Black Americans, deep South descendants in Hopkins, South Carolina this past Saturday. And when I say it, all Black, I mean all Black. There's not even, I didn't see one white person at all. And when I say when they hate to see when we are literally amongst ourselves, enjoying each other, building with one another, they're going to find ways to infiltrate us. That's why I don't even like to really share what's happening on the grassroots. This is really the grassroots. There's literally a song that they just released called Boots on the Ground. Most of these people have no idea what's happening on Twitter, but there's synchronicity there. You know what I mean? They got a whole song called "Boots on the Ground," and we've been talking about being having boots on the ground for the past 2 years, as far as this movement is concerned. And I believe at some time we'll be aligned with our political and our social and our entertainment cultural connection. You know what I mean? But it's subconsciously it's happening, and I'm in between. I'm in an intersectional area where I'm on both sides of it, where I'm seeing grassroots, literally of the Deep South descendants, and I'm seeing our scholars. And the grassroots of our digital footprint. You know what I mean? It's something extraordinary. It's a phenomenon that's definitely happening. I do agree.
Wonderful, appreciate it, Juicy. Black Truth, what's on your mind? And we'll go to Seventh Ward.
In all
Wait a minute.
fairness, I believe,
Taxation
Oh, I'm
been
sorry.
up here
Oh,
too.
I
Okay.
yeah,
and,
I
and
believe
can I
Brother
get somewhere in that
Twizzle,
queue
no
too?
taxation, and others were ahead of me.
Oh, okay, thank you, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you spoke already, you we're gonna have to put you towards the end with all due respect. We're letting Juicy be part of the panel, but there's just a lot of people who've been waiting. So just give us a minute, and then we'll let everybody else go.
Because I got to work on something and then I'll come back up as after more people have spoken.
Okay, so we're going to no taxation, and then Black Truth. That sound right? Go ahead. No, go ahead. No taxation.
Hey, Professor Nikki and Ronnie. Um, Boy, I am really learning a lot. Wani, I hate to hear stuff like that, that you're, that people are just really mean spirited. This is such a multi-layered thing, phenomena that we're going through right now. It really is. And I've looked at it from a distance. And I started looking at it up close in 2022 because I saw things look like they were petering out. The movement I'm talking about. I also and I wanted to do something. I call it to this day. Professor, you weren't around then. I don't. If you were, I didn't know you. I call it the rally that never happened, and I say I was Biggie. Biggie did that song. It was all a dream, and but you see, I'm still standing. That's the other part about it. You ain't gonna knock me down, you know. Um, and some things happened that nobody knows about, and I'll never talk about. But because when you speak about infiltration and female spies, that's exactly what happened to me. That's what happened to me in 2022 to 2023. And I had to experience that up close and personal. My father always told me, Professor, he said, black folks always say the same damn thing. I don't want these people to help me. I want those people to help me. He was talking about political parties. That's part of the reason why we haven't progressed in so many decades. Because, and this is not to bring a slight on anybody, but it's a statement of fact. A lot of you all have parents that were on that Democratic train, and you were taught this is how you vote, this is what you do blindly. And now you all are coming out of that. You all woke up, you see what's going on and what's happening. And what you also have to wake up to is that you're always going to be infiltrated by your own kind and from the government. Always. Don't think there's going to be a day in your life where the government can't put their hands on you. Or maybe somebody close to you that you thought was your friend. Okay? You got to get that. Because what you're doing is movement work. We call it movement work. It's very powerful work. It's righteousness work. See, now you're talking about something spiritual. Now you're talking about who we are. The one thing that I've always wanted to impress on people when I started, coming down to the masses and stuff, don't never give up the game. Never let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. This is the internet. It lasts forever and ever and ever. Be careful what you put on it. Use it as a tool. It's not your friend and it's not your foe. It's whatever you need for it to be. It's a sword. And you got to learn how to wield it. It's like being black in America. You got to know how to be black in America in order to survive in this country or just to be able to live. You got a sword and it's a double-edged sword. It'll cut you one way or it'll put you back together the other way. That's who we are as a people, and you can never forget that. Are female spies used to infiltrate FBA space? Yes. Yes, they are. Do goofy men invite them? Yes. And it don't even have to be FBA poor black men. Because I watched, I don't know who, I suspect Stephen Miller, one of Trump's henchmen. That ain't even his real name. He's a Jew. He done changed it to some regular American stuff. But anyway, Stephen Miller was Secretary of State. I forgot who Trump had when he was president. The big guy, Secretary of State, big heavyset guy. He got off the plane. It was three women dressed up in their, their country attire from back in the day with aprons on and shorts and in pigtails and that kind of shit. Blonde. And the one in the middle had a big loaf of bread on a platter, a wooden platter. And he got off that plane, and that's the first thing he saw. And they kept trying to hand him the bread. He wouldn't take it. He didn't know what to do. I watched him. I said, he ain't never been here before. They call that the honey trap. If you fall for the honey trap, you'll fall for anything. That's the first thing people throw at you. And like Wani said, it's easy to fall for it because women are beautiful. A beautiful woman can get just about any damn thing she wants to. Beauty is currency in this country, and other ones too. And so you have to understand that as a woman, if you're a woman that men look at more than 2 and 3 times, okay? More than 2 and 3 men. If you know men are looking at you, learn how to use your beauty for the benefit of us. It can be done. That's what light-skinned black women used to do in the silent generation. Black men would marry a woman that was beautiful and quiet and looked nice and meek, and she'd open the door for him and let him in, and then here come the black man come in to do the job. See, that was a thing that black folks used to do, not my generation, but the generation before me, silent generation, because they learned how to use their beauty. Halle Berry never did it. See what I'm saying? Lena Horne did. See what I'm saying? Uh, so we're going to be infiltrated, and especially every 4 years. And this, well, that's the way it is, Professor. That's what they got to do. They, one thing about white folks, and I found this out. I'll tell you when I found it out. I was in the 2nd grade, and it was a new school, and I didn't know how to walk home, and my sister was supposed to be waiting on me, and that heifer did not wait for me, and I got lost. And a white woman came out, and she said, "Are you lost?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Come in and I'll call your mother." That's way back in the day. And I went inside that white lady's house because I believed she was going to call my mama, because she said, "I'll call your mother." So she must have known who my mama was. She offered me candy. My mother said, I told her, "No, thank you. I don't eat poison candy." See, because my mama told me don't take no candy from nobody, you know. And my mother did come and get me. And I said, "And she knows you?" She said, "No, she doesn't know me." She said, "It's white people's job to know where all the black people live." That's what my mother told me when I was in the 2nd grade. I never forgot it. That is their job. We're baked in the system. We hold the system up. We hold the economy up because we built it. We're the cornerstone of everything in this country, and that's why can't nobody tell me, and shouldn't be able to tell you, a damn thing. Think what you want and do what you want. We pay the cost to be the boss around here. And we have to start thinking that. And I don't know if that was Nikki or somebody said, you have to listen intently to these people. Listen to them. Look how they write, even on social media. If they're not using the language even of the white man of this country, just know we don't need to pay attention to it. You all don't need to pay attention to anybody that's not in this country. Anybody outside of the country and all that, leave them folks alone. And these people that treat Wani the way she was treated, and Nikki and whoever else got treated ugly, they're dead weight. They're just dead weight. And y'all are carrying them. You're carrying them even if you go listen to their spaces. They don't have anything going on. They don't have nothing to do. Listen, if they had money, they wouldn't do it, because I'm a firm believer that if people have money, they'll be somewhere spending it or having a good time on vacation somewhere. So they're broke. And they're not trying to go get any money because they talk about people every damn day, and they fight with each other every damn day. Every day. I see it. Because I don't participate in it doesn't mean, look, like I used to tell people back in the day, Professor, just because I don't play the game don't mean I don't know it. Understand that. And so,
That's right.
you all in this room and the people that are heading this space and the people on this platform. See, these are the kinds of spaces that we have to have. We have to have that Ishmael space when she talks about, she's doing, Professor, I don't know if you know who she is. She does music neuroscience. She's, I begged her to, they did some horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They did some horrible things to her because I saw it in my timeline. And I didn't know that lady. I did not know that lady. But I begged her. I said, take your time, but please come back because black folks need to be healed. And we're never going to be healed unless we get reparations. Why? Because it's in our DNA, just like it's in their DNA to murder. Trauma is in ours. We walk around with it every day. And so we have to give each other grace. Give us grace. And stop being an enemy of the people. And leave people that are doing the work, leave them alone. Because if they win, you win.
Facts.
So what's the problem? If somebody calls themselves that, whatever name it is, because y'all got 5011 names, and when you get to be a certain age, you can't remember all that stuff. I can't even, I'm not doing all that LGBT and all those different names, and I'm really not doing the names y'all are doing. You know why? Because when those forms come out, if it says for reparations, check this box, are you this? That's the box I'm checking. I don't give a damn what y'all call it. Y'all, y'all do what y'all do, but trust, believe, I'm gonna be in line. And when they say next, I'm gonna be next. Because I checked that box. So if it says FBA, I'm checking it. If it says Black American, I'm checking it. If it says Negro, well hell, that's on my birth certificate. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
don't get
I,
bogged down in the weeds because you are fully infiltrated. And mind your
mm-hmm,
business. Stop putting your business out on Front Street for everybody to see and leave folks alone. Damn.
mm-hmm.
And I know, Professor, I went on and on, but I had to say it. I'm
No, you
through.
good to go.
I'm through.
We're gonna thank you on no taxation. We're gonna go to Black Truth. What's on your mind, Black?
Salute Professor Allen, Sister Wani, Sister Nikki, everyone on the stage, and everyone in the room. I just wanted to touch on a few examples of the history of some of these spies among us during the civil rights movement. They used people like Shirley Chisholm to infiltrate the movement. With the Tuskegee experiment, they used a female nurse because they thought that with a female, it would be easier to get that get that belief
Yes,
from
Eunice
the
Rivers.
patient.
Yep.
hmm Yeah, so there is a history and there are precedents of using females to infiltrate definitely our movements, our spaces, and I've definitely seen in certain spaces and even in Tyreek's space, which I don't even call up there. I'm typically asleep when he's on his spaces, but I've literally heard people jump into the room and go off on uh 1 hour rant back and forth, with people, and it really just seems like it's destructive. It's with the intent to distract, with the intent to waste time, with the intent to kind of derail the conversation, the positive uh, flow of conversation, and the progressive things that we're discussing. So definitely the old saying is true: by their fruits ye shall know them. If you have a person who every single time they're in a conversation, they're doing something goofy, something weird, they're starting beefs, they're beefing with people who are known like Sister Wani or Sister Nikki, that's some suspect behavior. So we've got to be careful, and we've got to be aware that it's unfortunately very cheap and very easy to buy people off and to get people to infiltrate spaces. And then, do goofy men invite them? Yes, most definitely. Too many game goofy males are in these spaces and in the back channels doing strange stuff. So yeah, most definitely there are males who are permitting this stuff and also spreading some of the stuff, that acting like females, going off gossiping, behind the scenes and on different stages. That's some weird effeminate behavior. But anyway, I'll go ahead and land. Thank you for having me on the space.
Yes. Speaking of back channels, I've had somebody, um, Black Truth United. I had somebody years ago get mad at me because I was co-hosting, and I kicked out I guess she was some types of OnlyFans model, and she was Caucasian, and this was a Black empowerment space. He got mad at me for kicking out a white OnlyFans model. So
Again,
sometimes when
game
you
goofy
see,
nonsense.
yeah, but at that time, and for some reason I don't see that. I haven't seen that person, and I don't think nobody's seen that person. But they were holding a space, and the chick just kept sitting in our space, and people would click on her profile and would see that stuff, and was back channeling different people. So I just kicked her out the space, and the person got mad at me, hey, why'd you kick her out? And at the time, I was like, well, this person, he speaks well, so maybe, so he's one of us. No, no, this guy, he put that white chick first before the movement. He put the white chick first before what we were talking about. So I can see what you're saying, because there's a lot of that goes on, and I've just seen so many situations where people have come in and they just weren't serious, and it will be somebody who somebody's attracted to, or somebody that they like, and they won't even like, they'll say, hey, I don't even like FBA, but it's because they're cool that they feel like this is some type of a hangout place. I think some people view FBA or the reparations movement as some type of social just hangout place. I don't think they understand that we are a lineage and that we're fighting for money that's owed to us. So I guess you have to be aware of people like that who aren't as serious when they come around into our mix. I have more to talk about, but I want to let some people go. I know that it was Bad News Brown that came up next. Twizzle left. Let's see. I just want to look real quick. And the Black has not spoken yet. And then we'll circle back around to everyone else with all due respect. Go ahead, Bad News. Also, I'm just gonna keep this real. I'm gonna keep it real. Anybody in here who has me or who are in here, you got any of us blocked anywhere? I'll let you stay today, but you got me blocked. Don't come back in none of my spaces again if you got me blocked anywhere. Thank you.
Facts.
Go ahead, Bad News.
Little piece of reparations. I don't know. Was Savannah
Oh, he got
before
some bad
me?
news for us. Go
Oh,
ahead, Black.
oh. Can you hear me?
I can't hear him.
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
There's somebody going, but I'm waiting.
I can go down
No,
Okay.
no,
and
I
come
can hear
back up.
bad news now. I can hear bad news now. Go ahead, bad news.
Okay. Love, peace, and reparations, and I'll make sure to unblock you on MySpace, sister. You know, we
You
we
don't
we,
have me
we, we
blocked.
had
Get
that
out of
run
here.
in.
You
I'm
go
joking.
ahead.
Oh no,
Black,
yeah.
I cannot hear you. Is he
About the
talking?
feet.
Yeah, he's talking.
Oh, I could go down and
I'm gonna
come
drop him
back
down
up.
and bring him back up.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, bad. Go ahead, bad news.
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah. This was actually a real good title. Everybody had a great contribution. Um, a lot of people are using high school logic for grown folks situations. Like me, and you also, because of that, you do have people cosplaying their role in the movement. Me, I'm not an activist. I don't claim to have any role in. I identify with the movement, and I support. And anytime we have discussions that I can contribute, I do. But I'm not gonna cosplay and try to make it like, oh yes, I'm this big. But a lot of people do that to impress these ladies, and it's really crazy when they like cross our lineage to do so with people outside of the lineage, even though it's still just as problematic if somebody is a rabble rouser and they're just using their own desires for whatever they think they get energy they getting from this person to do that. Like me, I'll go around, I'll make jokes, I'll offer a thing, but and that doesn't mean that I'm not necessarily smart, not smart, but serious or identify with the movement. I just understand my role in this thing. So there may be some conversations that are being had where I won't speak, but when somebody is being motivated by trying to get them some, trying to impress the women, they'll start virtue signaling. And I've easily been an easy target because, they don't just cross the ladies, they'll cross the brothers too. A lot of people know before I make a serious statement, I may make a joke just to cut the ice. I've always done it. I mean, it was something that I learned from teaching and training people because when you remember the joke, you remember the whatever point I was trying to get you to remember so you could do your job efficiently or learn your lesson efficiently. Um, so they'll virtue signal, gangster signal, ghetto signal, um, try to target people to prop themselves up. It's very narcissistic as well because they're trying to manipulate the perception of the listeners. Value and deal from Sister Wani, who, man, when I found out about that sister, I went on a binge watch of all her interviews, and I think you might remember this, Wani. I sent her a treatment for a movie. I said, "It's a movie. It could be this, or this, and this." And I just created a whole mind movie. I just, it based on what she experienced being the first black woman to go to every country in the world. But I understand my role. I have my own 5-year plan to do some things in my real life, and I get on not Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces to kind of break the ice and also have good conversations. And then I enjoy making my people laugh, but not at the expense of other people, unless we got some rabble rousers coming up in there, like some foreigners or some racist white folks. Then we just let them have it. But I understand my role, and these game goofy dudes who are they cosplaying as really caring about this movement or exaggerating their role in this movement are much more problematic because, like the sister said, she thought she knew this person for 3 years, and come to find out they was something else, and they was presenting themselves in this way that as if they identified or they were part of this thing. So, I think this was a very good discussion, and it can go both ways because the sisters, although it happens with the brothers more so, the sisters, we can't be protecting these foreigners who come in here trying to disrupt our just because you cool with them. Even amongst each other and being on the side of right, uh, um, uh, we should be able to, but we know how to correct each other in the back channel, hopefully. The worst thing we could do is I never jump into a situation while it's heated, and a lot of times I won't even comment on the situation. If they come, did you see that? I may say something, but if it's between lineage, I don't pick a side for a reason. I just kind of look at what this happened. And if they ask me to mediate, I can do that. Outside of that, I don't really like talking about what happens between our people and the lineage because it can be seen as like talk about people behind their back. And like I said, I like to crack a lot of jokes, but I don't like to hurt my people. So even if I'm making a joke, it's so we can all laugh. But that doesn't mean that I'm not serious about the movement. Um, it just means that I have a different personality and I understand my role. Somebody might have had a stressful day and they might have needed that laugh and so forth. But I'll yield my mic. I think this was a really good thing because I've seen it break up business conglomerates, well, business people who had an agreement in business. This very same thing has disrupted their business. I've seen it happen even in people part of in religion. They'll be part of a religious group. This situation where people are game, where dudes are game goofy and not protecting our sisters is quite can be quite disastrous because it'll cause us to split up and take sides. And then, it takes fingers to make a fist. But if the thumb is at war with the pinky and the middle finger is at war with the ring finger, we ain't never going to win no fight. And I'll yield my mic. Hopefully that made some sense. Thank you.
Yeah, it made sense, bro. I appreciate your contribution, and I'm gonna steal that. It makes fingers to make a fist. I like that. I'm gonna take that right there. But what I want to make sure everybody understands is this is not coincidental. As foundational Black Americans, we're loving people, and we like to see the best in people. We like to see the good, but now it's time to see what it is. We need to see what the fuck it is. Let's stop saying what we want to see. And let me help you to see what it is. You're looking at social engineering. I'm a social scientist, and warfare has been socially engineered on us. Um, Feminism, that's a socially engineered warfare tactic that, in my opinion, was developed. Well, I mean, it was perfected. It wasn't developed, it was perfected to attack the Black family structure in the 60s and 70s, and damn, was it effective. We're looking at a lot of that. And I think for the most part, these divisive young ladies, our women they're coming here divisive, and these goofy ass dudes. It goes back to what Andrew Bustamante was saying with the CIA. There are different levels of compliance. There's an unwitting idiot. What? Somebody help me out. What is it? Agent, uh,
Useful idiot.
useful idiot, unwit. Like you cannot know a lot of our these goofy ass dudes who was raised by their mama and their auntie are fucking useful idiots, and they not even gonna get the goods. You know what I'm saying? They not even getting the goods, but they're being used um, to sow division amongst us and to attack us, and they don't even know they're useful, and they don't even know that they're being used. But in conclusion, I'm just letting y'all know that that's, in my view, is that's not organic. It's intentional. And the sooner our sister Wani Spot says the cure, what do you say, Wani? The cure is knowing. You say it better than that.
The vaccine against these things is knowing about them.
Exactly. So now that you know, next time you see one of these motherfuckers come up in here and bring some mysterious, exotic. Tariq said some shit in a space the other day. I love it. I'm just like that. I stole it. He said exotic don't mean pretty. That's so true. But you get these goofy ass dudes that get some chick from some country and they think oh man, in my hometown of Birmingham, that's a thing, man. Look what I got. I got something exotic. When you got the prettiest women on the goddamn planet, I mean, a foundational Black woman can look like whatever you want her to look like. You know what I'm saying? We all different flavors. Shit, look at me. And they call me black. I'm black. Look at my skin. We come in all shapes and sizes. So what the fuck you doing going to Colombia and getting a wife for? You know what I'm saying? That's called self-hate and it's warfare because you've been trained that your woman is not good enough. The vaccine is knowing, and I'm helping you know that your woman, you got the best woman on the fucking planet. And ladies, you got the best man on the planet. Y'all already know that. Um, who was next?
We
Was
got
it?
some new we got some new people up here. I
Help
know
me
there
out,
was
Nikki.
Melanie J, son of Congo, and there's Sir Willis just got up here, and the other guy just got up here, M. Magus. So Let's let Melanie go, and then Son of Pan go after.
Sounds like a plan. Go ahead, Melanie.
Hi, room. Hi, everybody. Ooh, let me get up. I wasn't really, I wasn't really giving a submission today. I was just gonna listen, but I guess to add to the topic, uh,
Did she break up? Or was my space tripping?
Nah, it was her connection.
Oh, okay. When she come back, I'll bring her back up. Go ahead.
No, I brought her. I just
Okay.
invited her back up.
Go ahead, Melanie.
okay, could y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Um, well, the topic today, I've been hearing a lot about it, but I just want to stay focused on what this room is talking about. So, I definitely think it's some spies among us. I definitely think that they are like time wasting and they are like getting information from us. And it's kind of in a weird way of trying to like become a part of the culture in a way. Because the way how they talking, we know they're not a part of us. But I am noticing that a lot of them are like taking our talking points and making it a part of their culture and a part of what they're doing. I don't know if y'all noticed that yet, but I am starting to pick that up a lot.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
that's
like
very
weird.
true. You're very right. I just want to say that you're very right.
Yeah, and I think that's why they want us like always arguing and like explaining stuff to them. Cause I really think they trying to like get the ins and out of our culture to try to like wiggle their way into it. And I think a lot of these people is not genuine about like the things that they say. I think they just on here basically, like the Black Truth said, like they basically on here to emotionally invoke us, but it's to get information out of us. Because when a person is emotional, they're not really thinking about what they're saying and doing. They just blurting out whatever. And we are giving them notoriety and clout offer our emotional outrage is basically their currency or their visibility or I guess clout or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, and it is some game goofy black guys on here, and a lot of them, giving them the trigger and talking points too, like, oh, black women are aggressive, black women are masculine, all black women are this, and black women are jealous of other races of women or other ethnicities of women. And it's like, I don't even know half of these people y'all talking about. We don't even have a relationship with them outside of the app because we literally censor ourselves because majority of our culture is focused on us. So for you to say like all these triggering talking points, it's like, are you being genuine? Are you being honest intellectually? Like seriously, we don't really socialize with them outside of this app unless we're doing like some type of business with them. But like culturally connecting with them, like on a serious note, on a global scale of black people, we just not doing that. So I really think they just trying to harvest our emotions to get information out of us. And I'll land there.
Man, that happened to me today. Woo! She is so right. Like, all right, listen. I'm from South. Some of these people know like I'm from South Jamaica, Queens, right? Long story short, this brother, like, I gave him my number. I was like, yo, give me a call. He hit me up first. He hit me up first or whatever. So I'm speaking. He says he's from Queens too, but he don't necessarily really have like the Queens accent or whatever. Long story short, we had a conversation about the understanding about the relationship between FBA people or Black American people and what's it called, and Caribbean people. But long story short, at the end, my talking point was like, yo, we got family. That became his talking point too. Like, it's definitely being used as motive to not to just get the information, but to have the rebuttal. You know what I'm saying? Like the rebuttal for the conversation as well, to try to find those talking points, and so basically, so they don't
Hey,
feel the guilt.
Tyrone, Tyrone, we were Son of Congo was ahead of you. We'll come back to
My
you,
fault. I'm
bro.
sorry. I'm so
You
sorry. Go
good?
ahead, bro. My fault.
Go ahead, Son of Congo.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So firstly, I don't know if Miss Juicy is here, but I really wanted to apologize to her. That's the first thing that I wanted to do because um, it's really through her that I've kind of got some information about, FBA because I wasn't really aware of what it was, and it kind of took me by surprise, honestly. And I'm from Congo, so as you can see from my name. So initially, I had my misconceptions, and I was like, okay, what is going on? What are they talking about? The African, blah blah, the whole nonsense, right? So I kind of stumbled on a professor. He's actually from the Caribbean, and speaking about black people and how we migrated all over the world, and it kind of triggered something in me because um, basically what you've been saying has been truthful all along because the whitening of continents have been happening all over. The native of Europe were black. Native, the creators of like big empires like Japan were black people. We see that in Australia today, like
What does
aboriginal
this
of
have
black
to do
people.
with women infiltrating the movement?
What was that?
What does this have to do with women infiltrating the movement?
Well, wh- I'm coming there. The reason why I'm saying that is because the information that you're giving is very critical information. So if they were able to whiten all these continent and hide the information, which is the truth, why do you think that they're gonna? Obviously, they're gonna use women to infiltrate the movement because they don't want this information to be shared.
You said something about the movement being nonsense. What
No, no,
African
no,
nonsense?
no. I'm talking about. Okay, living in Africa, growing up into a colony, they put a lot of things that don't make no sense. They lie about history, right? Whitening continents when they tell you that white people were the original, founders of Europe, which is not true. It's the
Yes,
same thing,
we're aware of that, but
right? But that's what I'm saying. So if they were able to whiten Europe, what do you think they're gonna do in America? They're gonna do exactly the same thing. And that's why you see that
but
a lot of people don't understand that what you're saying is truthful.
This
That
is a
they are
perfect example of infiltration. Sorry.
no, I'm not okay. I'm not
we're
infiltrating.
not
I'm just
talking about white people
And we don't
invading the
care about the
movement.
African plight either. If you want to know the truth about it, we talking about ourselves. So
We're
we're not really
discussing,
interested.
we're discussing bimbos getting in the back channels, talking with the men in the movement, and them. I'm not used to being around goofy men. I'm just going to be honest. My father was a ladies' man, and women chased him around. And we had very beautiful women because he was in entertainment coming in and out of the house. He wasn't goofed out by attractive women.
Your
And he,
father was an alpha. Your father was an alpha.
a quiet alpha. A quiet alpha. I mean, he just he didn't have to put on any kind of attitude. But and neither did because he was in a certain circle, the men in the circle, they were all musicians. They didn't act goofy over women either. They were, jazz musicians. Women chased them around. So it's kind of embarrassing to see people that have never seen a woman or these incidences that I mentioned earlier, these three main incidences, these men never got a piece of ass. I need to put that out there. I need to say it. They never got a piece of ass off of this is virtual ass we're talking about. Just talking and getting little pictures of things has gotten them. I've been thrown under the bus over some flat Somali tits in a picture. I feel bad about myself. I mean, that's pretty bad. They'll do anything just to get a little snippet of something or somebody to say something or talk dirty in a room. That's what we're talking about. And a lot of these men are married too. Um, so we're not even talking about being thrown under the bus over actual sex, like actually doing it. That's the level of goofiness we're talking about. We're talking about a high level of goofiness here. I just want to throw that out there.
Very true. Who's next? Who's next? The Black, did you get to speak, sir?
No, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Uh,
Thank you so much. I apologize. Thank you for waiting.
no, I ain't got no problem with raising my ashy hand. But anyway, shout out to Professor One and Nikki Juicy, everybody else in the room. Wonderful and beautiful space like always. Uh, it it's very funny the topic because I was thinking about this earlier, especially when you look at the things that's been going on Twitter for the last few weeks with all these dudes crashing out over females or so-called defending women and uh some dudes just being jealous of uh Tariq or like Black Afro Elite, and it's really just, to me it's starting to look like dudes in the background that just been watching and hanging around are crashing out because either they feel like since they see people traveling and actually being involved with other people in other states and galvanizing people, they all of a sudden they getting some cutting, as you know what I'm saying, to keep it PG. Uh and it's funny because it seems like reality in the algorithm is basically tailored towards Black Americans and what we speak about, or what's the immediate drama on the internet at the moment. Because you had the people that was chasing after Tariq about old girl, and then you had old dude getting into it with Afro Elite about Wani, Juicy, and Nikki, and it's I don't even think it's like a honeypot situation. I just feel like it's like Professor had a space a couple of months ago about male self esteem. A lot of dudes don't go outside really. They don't socialize with actual people or females, period. And this the only time that they can actually socialize. It's like when I was young in middle school and I used to get on the chat line at night to get game. You know what I'm saying? To like learn how to talk to females, and then I actually applied that to the real world. But it's seem like it's that, but dudes ain't actually applying it to the real world, and it's backwards. And when it comes down to like the female situations, I mean, in in this we in a day and age where yeah, we in female empowerment. If you a goofy, then yeah, you gonna get taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't raised right, then yeah, somebody might take you out back and rob you for a good time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes not understanding that. Kind of like the little Travis Hunter situation in little essay, whatever she is. That's exotic, but she ain't exotic. She just ain't American, and that's the only difference. And when you look over time, that's how it's been. Like we get lost on mean to go because some goofy wanna get his wee wee wet. You know what I'm saying? They use
Yep.
Angela they use Angela Davis to try to murder Castro, but
Mhm.
she couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because she somewhat was infatuated, but that's what alpha male or just a real man gonna do. Period. Like, especially if you're not trying to chase a person sexually, you gonna draw a person because it's based off your personality, the type of person you are, how genuine you is. That's what females see. If you playing that on the internet, yeah, that only lasts for so long. If you ain't like that 24/7, yeah, if you ain't really cut like that, then yeah, your fabric gonna
Hello?
get torn. Hold on, who's this hard breathing
What's with the
African?
breathing?
Like, are somebody is somebody chasing you, sir? We can call 911. Or do you need ice?
That is that Nino Parcavania.
I don't
Look,
know.
we're
It
not
sounds like
playing. We're
he's in a
serious.
waterfall or in
Yes,
sewage.
yes, this police help.
Oh Lord.
May I ask where you're from?
He's. I just took him off the stage really quick before you even got that chance, because I'm like, yeah,
Sounds like
because
he was in an
because
underwater cavern
yeah,
or something.
that was hilarious. I guess we could let him speak again if you want to go back and forth with him, because I don't have the
I
patience right now. I'm about to tell him off. So if you want to go back and forth with him, let's. I'm gonna pull him up for you.
but
You want to pull you?
back and forth with what? Do I need a breathing machine to talk to him? Like, what do I need equipment for
I don't
this?
know.
You
I
might need
think
an
you.
inhaler.
Yeah. Yeah. You.
Something.
Yeah. That was hilarious. That was so funny though. It
I
was
thought he
so
was
funny,
Jason
but
little cousin or something.
yeah,
He got
somebody's
on here
always
like
got to
Darth Vader.
come do that. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
I kind of feel violated. He sounded like a child molester. He was just breathing too hard and weird. He sounded like he was sweaty. But before I was rudely interrupted by the hard breathing African or whatever he was,
Go ahead.
it it seems like soon as we get to a point where we're trying to we get to a real understanding about a certain part of history, or we jump over a hurdle that we've been battling with other subgroups of the culture, these other people come in and try to question or just try to throw a monkey wrench in the situation and derail us because they understand. Yes, we, like Nikki said in the last space, we're about to get to the reparations. The truth is out and about. It's no denying it. Ain't no stopping it. We gonna galvanize and get together eventually. So it's either get with it or just move out the way at this point. Like, it's it's really no. I'm starting to get like no taxation. It ain't really no point of just talking to these folks. Cause all y'all here to do is waste time, get us riled up, then we start infighting between each other because one part of us want to keep it humanitarian and keep it nice. The other half just want to go in and keep it gutter and let you really hear it and hurt your feelings. And that's the whole point of political correctness, was to stop us from really giving a person the business. And hey, the intellectuals can only do so much before, you know what I'm saying, people like me, you know what I'm saying, not saying I'm not an intellectual, but I like to go to the gutter real quick if I have to, like, fight go with it with me. And, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad I won't be getting on stage on a lot of these spaces because it's a lot of dudes I just cuss out, especially the way they be talking to our sisters, like the interrupting and shit. Like, that's so rude. Like, I'm from the South. You get your ass whooped, or you get slapped upside the head. You interrupt somebody while they talking like that.
Right.
That's fighting words. But
Right.
I'll land that.
Thank you, to Black. Thank you so much. I There was someone who came into the reparations Twitter spaces. I'm thinking about a year ago. I remember this female came in around August, and nobody knew her. And she would come in and she would start. she would be talking, and then all of a sudden she would be like, you know, I think everybody should just try to see if we could get Michelle Obama to run for office. And
Was
then she
that
would
that
just
young
start.
girl that said she was from California?
I'm not going. We may have to. Yeah. Well, see,
I
people
know
were
who
in the
you
back
talking
channel
about.
I don't know
complaining
who
about her,
this
and
is.
Oh, she was a wild
I'm
one.
not
Go
going.
ahead, Nikki. She was a wild one.
Yes. Yeah. And it was so obvious that she was a shill. But there were some men. There was a man, a particular man in the movement, and we were talking all in the back channel, and he convinced everybody, not myself, but to give her a second chance. She just need to be taught how to get better on code. She's new. Next thing you know, you see him flirting with her on a timeline. Towards the towards closer to the election, she was all the way out there pro Kamala, all the way out there, and he was just sitting there looking stupid. And she never gave him the time of day. She never found him attractive, but he wanted her. And don't take this as a Nikki and Wani, oh, we jealous of everybody's space. Because well, people can say that all they want. I'm very confident in who I am. I'm just like, if this movement is so much a part of me, I can't see myself existing without it. It's everything to me. It's not just I just came here to grow my social media. So I am very protective of I'm protective of the people in it. I'm protected of spaces. I'm protected of information that's shared. I'm protected of privacy and the families involved. So it's not about hating on people. Wani is protective where she protects things where she keeps the lineage protected so that people aren't tethering off of us. But people can take it how they want. We have the right to look out for our people, if we want to do that. But there are a lot of people who come in here who want something else, and they're pretending to be for what we are about, but they're really about wanting something else. Y'all got to excuse me right now. I'm very sorry. I'm going to give the mic to Brother Muko.
I'm going to say something real quick regarding this third incident that I experienced recently. Um, I wanted to point out that the person had a lot of foreign men in his room as well. And those men are fighting with FBA women and still allowed to sit up in the room with the woman that has the foreign last name, who he tried to convince me that's a black American man's last name when it's Russian. Um, so this person is just determined to circle himself with these foreign people and convince us that, oh no, they're just cool. But they're actually not cool. We do have some immigrants that we deal with that are cool, but these people are not in that category. They're prostitutes, and that guy is a troublemaker that gets into a bunch of tiffs with Black American women and people in general. So it's not just focusing on the women per se. I've had the same issues with a lot of men floating around here getting preferential treatment because they're cool with them, and then they're right there doing all kind of sidewinding things, and the person they're cool with doesn't want to see those things, and we end up trying to warn them. I'm not doing that anymore. They already know. So they're just being against the movement. They're putting people in our circle that are doxing people. They're putting people in our circle to get information. And so now I'm looking at them crazy.
Yeah, especially
Go
when there
ahead.
are so many unanswered questions. In a lot of these situations, there's questions that have never been answered, and we go on for weeks, months, and years, and those same questions don't get answered, and you find out somebody's a whole agent. A-
Right.
another thing to another thing to look out for, and I'm not quoting any books or anything. Well, when you have someone who's a lot of these people, you'll have someone who's been in a movement and been on code for years, and then some new people come in. Some new people come in. A lot of times these new people come in and they're just so helpful. All of a sudden they need to have direct access to certain things and certain people. And the next thing you know, they're telling people that the day ones can't be trusted. They must be an agent. Hmm, what is it about them? Why are you coming in brand new, hating on the day ones so bad that you're trying to convince them that the day ones are the agents? Who are you? Where do you come from? Where is your family from? Was it Brother Muko or
Yeah,
no taxation?
it's
Okay.
Nico.
I'll let no taxation go before me. I'll go after her. Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell she has something to say. Thank you so much.
But you listen, brother Muko and I, we're such kindred spirits. We met in 2023. We didn't get to break bread because both of us were late, but we will very soon. Actually, I haven't told Muko. I'll tell you about it on the back end. That's my brother in real life. Um, I wanted to say this and piggyback off what Nikki is saying because I said this, and I think Muko, you were in that space. I think it was a news toter space that I was in because one thing about me is I don't hang out I might go in there and tip and see, and look around, but I'm looking to see who is it that is talking about they in the movement, but they over there doing goofy stuff because one of the things that I'm adamant about is leave the people that are working alone. Just leave them alone. That's all I ask. But Nikki, here's the thing: these people are whenever you're doing movement work, you're going to come to a time because movement work involves a lot of people, right? Like it's like campaign work. If you ever worked on a political campaign, or if you ever worked for a nonprofit and you had to do some fundraising, or you know what I mean, teamwork, make the dream work, kind of thing. You always get to a point in the movement or a friendship or something where you have to uh, put your walls up and close ranks. You know. And this is where we are in the movement. And I said this during the campaign, the presidential campaign, and what just happened there. Y'all don't need no new friends. Whoever was your, like she said, the day ones, whoever there's an old saying that we have, and I've been saying this in the spaces to get you all to understand where y'all are now politically in the movement because I see things you don't see. Y'all don't need no new friends. And there's an old saying that we have, dance with the folks that brung you. Professor, you know what I'm talking about. So whoever you was working with before, keep working with them. If you was making headway with them, keep on continuing that. Y'all don't need no new friends because you're at a point where you haven't quite got their backs against the wall. If you keep pressing, I would venture to guess in 18 months you will. If you continue to do what you have been doing, which is pressing and hollering and doing the groundswell, all of that, all what y'all been doing. The only thing you got to watch out for, and that's why they came over to this space to talk, because it's very important. Y'all don't need no new friends. And that's just true too. Y'all been making headway. Y'all don't need no new friends. If they haven't made their bones and been on your side, even if they just got on your side, but they have made their bones, they have had wins. They have concrete wins that you can see and know about, read about, okay? If they don't have that, then you can't let them in because you can't afford to. You know, and the more the tighter you become in closing ranks, the more they're gonna come at you. So get ready, because 2025, I think it's gonna be the year of consequences. If you can't agree on the premise, you're not gonna agree on the consequences, and we ain't agreed on nothing with them white folks I'm talking about. So you know, It is. We have to move on, and that's just true too. And that's why I wanted to say, Nikki, because I feel like you. Um, One thing I will say, because I'm neutral with everybody. I don't have to fall out with folks because I'm a 70-year-old woman. See, and I've lived, but you understand what I'm saying. And hopefully, I got a few more years ahead of me. But I don't have to play games of the rodeo. So when y'all ask me who I was and I put it up there, that's just true T. That's who I am. The person you talked to in the beginning is going to be the person you talk to 10 years from now. I'm going to still be talking the same way. I don't change my voice. I don't know how to code switch. I don't code switch for white folks, you know. And I do want you all to win. I've always said that. And that every generation has to seek their own way to freedom. And our job is to help you all along the way, people my age and older.
Right.
That's our job.
And we deeply appreciate it. Um, has Sir Magus, I mean Sir Willis, had a chance to speak yet? Sir and M. Magus.
There's someone named
Wasn't it
Bongo.
Muko?
There's
Oh, Muko didn't
well,
go.
Muko, he dropped down. I don't. I think yeah. I think he was
Okay.
gonna piggyback off of her. Yeah. So we had Bongo, Sir Willis, and some person. I don't even know who a couple of these people are. So we're kind of just like winging it with. So who had? But go ahead, Sir Willis. Sir Willis, you can go ahead.
Great, yes, greetings, brothers and
Thank you.
sisters. I wanted to salute to Professor Allen and Nikki the God and Wani. I learned about you all about basically through Tariq and listening to when you guys came on the line or whatever. But you guys are phenomenal, and I'm FBA on both sides. My mother side is from Georgia. Father's side is from North North Florida, basically. And I think a lot of the things is a lot of times you talk about female spies and infiltrating FBA spaces. You got to deal with a lot of regional mindsets also. Um, like me being from Central Florida, we have a lot of non FBA influence in Florida, and from Central America, Caribbean, uh, Caucasians from other states. You know, it's a Republican state, so there's a lot of people, a lot of different influences in this state. Um, and sometimes you have people who, especially from Caribbean side, their mentality is very let's go along to get along. A lot of the teaching, the educational system down here, for what I've gathered, is it's even though this is a so-called conservative state, the teaching from the schooling that I've been through is very liberal, and they kind of side with the goal on to get along, and we're all one people, and you don't really look at your own lineage, specifically Black American lineage, is depressed down here. So it's kind of easy to get your mind not really focused on your lineage here versus other places, I believe. And it's kind of easy to get swayed by the Cuban culture and whatever else is the Haitian culture or whatever. And I really feel like people are now getting more focused on their own lineage, specifically Black American. And this is a very important time that we're in politically and socially in this country. And most people need to be focused on how Black Americans move. And I think they are, because especially with the last election cycle, the influence that we've had here in this particular platform, a lot of people are going to be keying in on how we move in here going forward. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's here and making waves and the social media imprint, and how we've been able to affect stuff immediately. I remember just right before the election actually kicked off, people were saying out, they were just laugh. The Democratic people was just laughing and saying, "Oh yeah, you guys are not you guys going to be out of here the next couple of weeks." I was like, wait a minute, y'all don't see what's going on? Like this is a groundswell of real black empowerment speaking, telling you guys what's going to happen. As soon as the election hit, people was like, well, "Damn!" It's like the room was cleared. So I mean, people are really now taking into account what we've done over the past few months this year, and people are really going to key in on trying to get influence with the talking heads and anybody who's connected. So people got to be careful, man. Like, I really don't like how um, the previous generation handled a lot of things, but there's nothing you can really do about that. When you talk about the mindset, that's what it really comes down to is your mindset and how everybody thinks, oh, we're all black, so everything is, everything is one. That's just not true. People come from different areas, they have different ways of thinking, and you have to focus on your lineage and just keep it pushing. I'll land
Can
there.
I ask a quick question? When you were
Yes.
saying that it's easy to get swayed by Cuban or Haitian culture, what does that really mean? Can you explain when you say swayed? Because we know that's happened a lot in New York, and I can't really get a full answer on how they feel. When you say swayed, what has that done with you personally? How do you feel you were swayed?
Well, when I say that, I mean like, I can't speak for New York, but in Florida, we grew up in the school system where when you're a black child in the classroom, the Cubans, the Haitians, the Jamaican kids, the Black Americans are all just looked at as black, basically. And so we become friends, even some of the poor whites, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I get that part.
And
Go
so,
ahead.
and so we kind of just talk to each other, and whatever their ideas is, sometimes it can influence the way you think and a lot of their worldview. You just think that, hey, we're all just the same kids, just going to school
Mm-hmm.
and doing what we do or whatever. But when you start to grow up and you start to see, like you go to their homes and stuff like that, you notice certain things that are different, but you don't really put it together until you get older and around maybe like different cultures or whatever. Like I mean, like you're your own lineage
Mm-hmm.
rather. Well, I would say that you get around your own lineage and you realize that hey, my family we kind of do stuff different from them. You know what I mean? And
I get
that
it.
that's
I'm
that's
glad you
that's
explained it so I can make sure I get what you're saying, that it's kind of where you were all one, because children are all one when we're little. We don't know any better.
right,
And then you kind of grow into it, and then you start to see that, things are different. And you do have different agendas, because a Haitian is going to want the border wide open so more Haitians can come. And a Black American might take time to think about it and say, wait a minute, these people are coming to take my jobs and my opportunities. So you don't in any way have the same agenda, or shouldn't. And anyone that's Black American that continues to say that asinine position, you can be a Democrat, but you can never take a position that the border should be wide open. That's idiotic. Nobody's border is wide open, and nobody wants people to come and take their jobs. So that's not even a legitimate position at all. I refuse to listen to it. And people that push that, they don't make any sense. Okay,
right.
go
And
ahead.
yeah, just to add on to that is also like in my family, my father's side, there's for whatever reason a lot of the women because he came from a lot of brothers and sisters, 15 brothers and sisters growing up. My aunts, and then for some reason took to a lot of Caribbean men from the 70s and early 80s. And so they had basically anchor babies and stuff like that. So I got half FBA, half Caribbean cousins. So when you start, that also affects your thinking too. Like, hey, they're all black. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
that that's another reason this lineage starts to get blurred a little bit with the culture down here. And I would imagine there would be something similar with New York because a lot of the immigrants go to New York also.
Yes, it is. That's similar in my family. My cousins' first wives were Black American, but when they got divorces about 20, 30 years into the marriage, um, most Black Americans have moved. So now the dating pool is all foreign, but they,
Right.
and they took those wives and they're in the family. I don't have anything against them. We go out, we have fun, but
Right.
coming into this movement, I realized that, yeah, they do things differently and they feel differently about things. And so we're all experiencing that.
Yep. And politically, they have the ones that are have FBA have Caribbean or whatever else. Um, for whatever reason, they don't look at the Black American side as a
Mm-hmm.
valuable lineage for some reason. I don't know why
I've
that
noticed
is,
that
but
they don't lean
they,
toward the Black American side. So the minute
yeah,
they say half, I just say whole. Goodbye
right.
until proven innocent. It's guilty until
Yep,
proven innocent. Unfortunately, I don't have time to play games.
yep, indeed.
Okay, who is next? Anybody know? We're supposed to know, but we don't.
I don't know. I
Was it
haven't
Sir
heard.
Willis or Emma Magnus?
Yeah, I haven't heard from Magnus.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Magnus,
All right,
please.
can you hear me?
Yep.
I
Hey,
was sending you
I,
something to your Twitter, Wani. That's why I wasn't speaking. Go ahead, Magnus. I can't hear the person.
oh, all right. I wanted to thank you all for, allowing me a moment to speak, and even though we're moving around on a lot of different topics that kind of tie together, I do want to touch on this. But first, I want to say I'm glad that so many FBAs are really getting on the same page at the same time, because that's always been the thing that I was wondering about, like, because people have been warned for years about people who we thought were on the same page as us because they look like us or whatever, but not really us. But this is just another version of what I would call, it's like a different type of nigga wake up call. Because I don't believe a nigga wake up call is exclusive to us versus, I mean, dominant society, whatever you want to call them. I think it's also people who make up the people who try to claim that they're us when it's convenient and they can step in and out of our identity. They kind of like doppelgangers. So I'm glad they were getting on code about that. And another thing I wanted to say is this wake up call has been a blessing in disguise because it's forced us to sort of pull ourselves away from other groups that are really just distractions. They kind of drain us. And notice how everything sort of moves, it's been moving around us and how they're trying to like agitate us and bring these strange people into our spaces to try to get us to speak on or react to things that don't really pertain to us, because without us it just doesn't really get done. I'm glad that we're moving in this direction. or we're kind of pulling ourselves away from them because now we have actual leverage. You don't really have leverage unless you're willing to get up.
Is someone talking?
No.
I don't hear anyone.
Oh, let's go with the black.
Uh, yeah, what the brother, not the last brother, but what the brother before him said, and what no taxation said, it reminds me of what Malcolm X said, and the level of thinking that they was doing around that era, and I feel like we back in that era, but at a little slight difference. Like we had a more better advantage because we know what's going on. We know all the tricks, and they can't come up with no new tricks. So with these so-called infiltrators or just time wasters, it's it's really like what Melanie said earlier. They trying to come up with talking points to go against the the things that we coming up with. And what you keep on saying, Nikki, is right. We have to have a level of reassurance that we are protected when we come in these spaces. So I don't get mad when you don't really say too much because I understand your position, and a lot of people don't understand their position. I understand. I'm just a foot soldier, and I ain't trying to be no leader. I ain't trying to be no major because hey, sometimes you gotta be on the front line, and a lot of people don't want to be on the front line because that's where you might get shot, and and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the army. Like we we have to understand that uh, a lot of people ain't gonna get favor or get the type of fan base or whatever you want to call it clout that you think you gonna get from this movement because it's not about that. It's not about egos. It's not about you know what I'm saying what I can get from somebody or any of that. It's about our people and us actually seeing justice for you know what I'm saying what the real people that been through it was originally fighting for. And a lot of times we lose sight of that based off of ego or just personal BS because you know what I'm saying we still human and we still live in the flesh. And that's cool, but if I'm to the point that if you're gonna derail the whole and get us into a situation where we back in the same cycle for the next 2-3 generations, then yeah, I understand the 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 way the NOI was thinking during that time period when when they got infiltrated. Like, yeah, we gotta take out all traitors. And sometimes that's a must. It's hard to say, it's sad to say, but you know what I'm saying? That's how the the white people have been surviving so long. They don't give a damn. They gonna take you out if you if they have to. It's just the the version of white people we have these days is not like they elders. They ain't fighting hard. I mean, some of our people ain't fighting hard either, but we still got people in the field that's willing to get shot and take a punch. A lot of them, they behind algorithms and trying to figure out how to play with your mind and play mind games. And that's not going to
Okay.
work when you're in the field.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. We got some new people on the stage. Um, Bongo, go ahead.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, I just want to piggyback or talk about us being infiltrated. A lot of FBAs, we in the grassroots, we take responsibility for the Democrats losing the election. Like we'll put that on our shoulder. Nobody raises billions of dollars and lose the election. Nobody wants. No, that's not going to happen. As far as like they're not going to let that slide. So we're going to get infiltrated by, and we already have been. We're going to be infiltrated by every single way possible for us. People from the outside, people from the inside, everywhere. So so what I'm trying to say is just like, ask the question: how do we keep the same momentum but go under the radar? How do we go, but we keep the same momentum, keep the same power that we got, but we're wide open, man, with our culture, with everything, as far as just us being who we are. Everybody can see us. We riding down the hill with the top down. You get what I'm saying? We so easy. We can be touched at any given time. We can be infiltrated. How do we do that? How do we mitigate certain things? Um, Tariq Nasheed, he threw a rally for reparations in D.C. and it had a lot of action, had a lot of traction and stuff like that. How do we keep that same power, but nobody knows about it? If you look at the Jewish community, how do they don't get infiltrated? You know what I'm saying? They, you know what I mean? But they make moves and have power and stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, how can we? Because we're wide open, man. Everybody sees us. Everybody want to be us. I think a gentleman earlier was talking about, or a woman earlier was talking about how everybody take our talking points and apply it to them. That's what that's what it is take everything that we got and say it's theirs. And that's what they've been doing for us with our culture, the way we talk, our struggles and everything. Our leaders are known and they're also dead. You get what I'm saying? They because they're so known. But if you look at white supremacy don't have a face on it. It just has a name. So my thing is, how do we're going to get infiltrated no matter what, but how do we mitigate the loss? How do we take that same momentum, keep that same power that we have and go on the radar, which is, this is probably easily the hardest thing we ever have to do, because people are watching us. People haven't been liking us for years, but been right next to us. Yeah, and they will use women. Women is a great source to use, because one, you can use women because they will point out the weak man. Or women can use whatever, and they will find the weakest man. The weakest man is gonna, they're gonna kind of they're easily betray us or whatever, or betray the movement or whatever. And then with that same woman, she will raise the next nation of men, because that's what women do. They're the first teachers of the kid, of the child. So my thing is kind of how do we go on? Like, we need to find a way to keep the same momentum but go under the radar. You know what I mean? How can we disguise ourselves like such, like far as, people always talk about the Jews, or people talk about white supremacy, but they don't name nobody. They don't say nothing. They just put a face on a political figure, but who's really pulling that trigger? And I think that, we're in it for these next past 4 or 5 years. They're gonna come at us in every single way they possibly can. Nobody's gonna raise that much money and lose to people who ain't billionaires. You know, it just it's just not gonna happen. So I don't know. I just wanted to get on and talk, but I see it's a lot of strength in us, and it's kind of like we were a sleeping giant, and they woke us up, and it's just kind of like, you know, uh, we're just in for it. These next years are going to be hectic, man. They don't take losses like that, and it was a big loss. And FBAs, we take responsibility for it, but it's going to be a lot of backlash of it. And I'm just trying to see how can we keep our same momentum, but just fly under the radar, so everybody's not looking at us, everybody's not seeing us, everybody don't know how to get in contact with us. It's just, nobody's really talking about what we're talking about. Nobody's being about what we're being about. Nobody, you know, nobody can do what we do, or they would have been doing it. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about and stuff like that. But yeah, we will be infiltrated by every single person, every single thing. Like they will learn us. Even we usually ask where you from, where your people from. They gonna learn. They gonna know. They gonna they gonna say, oh, they're gonna ask us where our people from, or we're gonna say we're from South Detroit, this place, this area, or we're gonna say we're from Atlanta, this place, this area. They're gonna learn how to do that. And then, you know what I'm saying? So I think that we have to go on the offensive. Well, we have been on the offensive, but we have to go more on it. So that's all I was trying to say. But we're really powerful, and we're starting to know it, and we're starting to realize it. We're starting to see it, and they hate that, and everybody hate that. But yeah, that's what I want to say. I appreciate y'all, man. I listen to y'all, and I get a lot of positive things, and just help me understand what's going on. So I really appreciate that, and just uh, keep up the struggle, keep on going. But yeah, I land my plane.
Appreciate it, bro. Has James had a chance to speak? Was it James or True you news?
Hey, peace to the room. And
Go ahead, James.
yes, and I just wanted to speak to the title to add my 2 cents, really, because yes, a lot of these guys absolutely have no idea on how to speak to women. So far as them infiltrating the movement, and women who see that and you men hitting on them, that's the perfect target. Yeah, it's easy for them to come in and infiltrate these goofy guys because they grew up not, like the black mentioned, not going outside, actually interacting with women. Everything is online now. That's the only interaction they seem to care about. So, these guys, we definitely have to be careful about these types of individuals, men or women. So, because it's important for us to always, try to, in some sense, get our kids and these younger kids off these apps and stuff and just really bring them together and learn them. And I'll land my plane.
Appreciate your contribution, brother. We're gonna go with True New. Go ahead, True New.
Hey, appreciate it, Professor Wani and Nikki. How everybody doing tonight? I just wanted to be real brief and forgot who was speaking. I think it was Black. Um, One of the things that I really realized, just speaking to the topic of the space, one of the things that I really realized just through studying and stuff is one thing that's consistent is this concept of our perceived inferiority and in internalized inferiority and the inferiority that we as a people have been taught to have. And a lot of times when you put that plus a lack of identity, a lot of people tend to identify with the things that surround them, so like the job or certain other things that aren't really necessarily particular to their culture, just something that's particular to their reality. And with that being said, I was told by a white guy. I was working this job down in Georgia. He told me that he spent a lot of time in prison, in a lot of South Georgia prisons, and we spoke candidly to each other. And he told me, was like, man, I don't know why he's a young guy in his early 30s, spent a lot of time in jail though. He said that he's moved from jail to jail to jail in South Georgia, and one thing that was consistent was for some reason there is these short, kind of heavy set, chubby, real thick black women in every single one of the jails, and they all kind of had the same mentality and um, you know the way they went about things. So it's just little things like that, that kind of people unconsciously become um, uh, spies, you know, because they in these positions to you know rat us out in any way. So it really be that inferiority, and that's what I wanted to just say.
I wanted to just hop in here and bring up the fact that we've been in here a while and we only hold these spaces for so much time. I think what we need to do, I just said something to Professor, we need to have a series about this situation where we go deeper into it and we do more teaching,
Facts.
then have some spaces where we do more teaching than talking. And then we'll have another space where we'll do more talking. But this is definitely not the last space that we'll do on this topic. I'm thinking that we should do about three of these. What
Because
do you think, Professor?
as I want to just say
That
that, I'm gonna
that
say one
that's
thing real quick.
that sounds like a
Y'all have a
plan.
think tank. I just wanted to say this real quick before you finish, Professor. Y'all are
Yeah.
creating a think tank, a serious one that is really helping people. Like just like me doing work right now, listening to y'all. This think tank is helping me, motivating me in so many ways, and putting my mind on things. Like Wani, some of your information be mind blowing to me. Like some of the things that you've experienced and things you know be mind blowing to me. So yeah, what you just said, Nikki, is true.
Yeah, just and the think tanks are important because we don't want to keep sitting here strategizing and telling everybody how we know this person is an agent, and we need to understand when we say agent, what is an agent? Because everybody's calling everybody agents. Do we know what an agent is, what COINTELPRO is, what a spy is, and what somebody's just what somebody just being messy is? We need to know what the difference is between all of these things and when we should act on it. Sometimes it's one of those situations where it's codified. We all know it's happening, but we're just keeping an eye out for it. So I would just love to do more spaces on that. And Professor, it's on you.
That sounds like a plan, Nikki. Tomorrow we'll have part two. Um, I really enjoyed y'all today. I learned a lot. Tomorrow we'll have a teaching space on part two of this. And did Wani and Nikki, you had any closing remarks?
No, just good night, everybody.
I enjoyed y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow with part two, where I will have evidence on what these terms actually mean. Let's start our think tank. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace out.